It's my birthday, friends all around. I should feel lucky, but I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling. I know I should be happy too, but I'm dying, fucking dying. 'Cause Gary Nolan blocked me. The world is crumbling all around me. I wanted Gary to tell me why he shared Chris Bartell's brain scans on TV. It's my birthday, friends all around. I should feel lucky, but I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling. I know I should be happy too, but I'm dying, fucking dying. 'Cause Gary Nolan blocked me. The world is crumbling all around me. I wanted Gary to tell me what aliens are planning, and I can't blow out my candles because of all of these scams. And I can't blow out my candles because of all of these scandals. It's a shame I brought all my hobbies to the stage, and now I'm taking the facts, now my shingles are flaring. It burns when I breathe, but there is no comparing to the shade. Must feel like to simply be Darren Reed. Oh Lord, you make Darren Reed. Darren used his ex-wife to execute a plan to remove the children from a woman who dared to take a stand for something she believed in. Let me tell you something, I believe it. Oh Lord, there is no comparing to the embarrassment of just being Darren Reed. He called CPS on single mom because he didn't like something she said. I know a man named UFO Shane. He has 58 laptops. I'm not joking, he has 62 laptops. He knows more than you about everything. He's got more to do. He's UFO Shane. He's got the plan. His alcohol percentage insane. He has 83 laptops. I'm not joking, he has 96 laptops. So many laptops. My man Shane has 48, 9 fucking portable computers in his domicile. What the that? Stop sending UFO Shane like he's running out of space. I think Ella Jones was right again. God damn it. Are these aliens demons? Are they demons? Let me give you the gist of. For hundreds of years the Germans have been in contact with interdimensional beings. Please believe me, it's all a call, mind control. I know it, Joe. Trust me, bro, Alex Jones was right.
We're going to get started here pretty soon, guys. Thanks for popping in early. Thanks for being here on time. All right. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Skyfire News. It's Friday. It's going to be a good show. We got Ashton Forbes in the mix. Of course, Red Panda Koala is here, and tons of news to go over. There have been major developments. Last night, something crazy happened. I've never seen anything like this happen before, ever. It's a major outlet that this happened to, and we were right there while it was happening, and that was crazy. So we'll get into that. Also, more... that exact event opened the door up to some more Lou Elizondo, Kona Blue discussions. We got to get into that. And Ashton Forbes had his community notes removed. I don't think I've ever seen that, and it happened. We got Ashton here today to talk about it. Red, get up here, man. How you doing today?
Woo! Let's go, Tupa. Let's go, chat. Should we shout out some of the chat?
Let's do it.
Okay. Who is first today? Damn, it's so far up, yo.
I know. The chat's active today.
Casual links. LOL, I'm usually lurking in a new tab. As soon as I see that the link goes live, I have no life. Hell yeah, we love you here. Member Anthony Jones. Cosmic Time, let's go. Armstrong, another lovely member. For Ashton Hart. Why is it people are so quick to try and tear down someone who is passionate about something worthy? If you're here to obviously agree, there is more to reality than what we believe. Why is
well said.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get Ashton's take on that for sure. And that touches into some of the stuff we're going to be covering too. T-Cause. Hey everyone, anyone catch Steve's Spaces from earlier today? I did. Did you see that, Tupa? There's this dude going around on Spaces saying he's like a whistleblower on something. People are like either with it or not. Saber's in the chat. Alien Addict. Oh, there we go. Member Stoned Ape. Heck yeah. Bob Lazar's in the chat tonight. Hell yeah, let's go, Bob.
Yeah.
Bastard Canute, our lovely mod Heather, Sonville, and yeah, a bunch more. So, are you excited? There's been so much stuff happening in UFO land this week. Feels like
I'm jazzed, and I've been super busy with other stuff and edits and whatnot. So I know you have some news for me that I've never seen before. So I'm excited to react to that in real time with y'all. But without further ado, let's get our guest in here. Let's get Ashton in the mix.
Woo!
There he is.
Wait for it. There it is.
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
How you doing?
Hey
boss?
guys, good to see you guys. It's been a couple weeks I think since I've been in Skyfire.
I know.
Stream, so
Too long.
it was like forever.
It does.
Forever.
It's good to see you.
Oh, it's good to be here, man. I'm feeling spicy. It was happy hour day.
Hell yeah!
Here, and I've got a little drinky poo here, so we're getting spicy.
There we go.
It's been one hell of a week, guys. The ups and downs, the roller coasters in my life related to the internet and social media have been just incredible. I mean, it's better than any movie that's going on out there.
It is.
I can't wait to talk to you guys about it all.
And it's been amazing to watch. honestly. Like one of the a
JK.
roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride. That bottle looks so tiny. I love it.
Yeah.
Next time we'll have to arrange a martini lesson and all kind. We want the whole treatment. We want to know how you're doing. You know what I mean? How do you do it?
Yeah, no, I will do like a whole maybe just
We're gonna film a tutorial at
set it up,
Contact in the
tutorial.
Desert.
Yeah, exactly, for everybody out there.
Yeah, the people need
I
to
think
know.
we're doing this late enough that it's not, there's not kids watching. Hopefully, you're not going to get removed from YouTube. A lot of people are getting censored from YouTube lately.
That's
The
true.
amount of censorship in general, honestly, just as a little side note, my buddy Matt Kim, shout out to him. If you guys don't follow him, you should check out the stuff he's doing. Big free speech guy. He's been getting censored. Adriana, I'd have to look at her last name as well, got censored recently from Amazon. She got her demonetization. Tim Pool got censored from YouTube.
Oh yeah, some old episode, right, of Rogan?
Yeah, from like 3 years ago. And then everybody was suspecting that this Tucker Carlson Rogan thing might have got, like pulled or something, but turned out, I'm reading his post right now. I actually just said that it was accidentally released at 12 a.m. instead of 12 p.m. So calm down, conspiracy theorists. Calm down. I know we got a lot of conspiracy theorists in the chat.
Let's talk about that actually, because we were in a space. We were in a spaces late last night, and midnight struck, and suddenly the host goes, breaking news. Joe Rogan's episode with Tucker Carlson just dropped. And I was like, oh, sick. I'm going to go to it and skim through it while I'm in the space. And so I get in there and I start to skim through it, and suddenly it goes, this video is private. And I was like, I had to come into the space and go more breaking news. That video's down. But not everybody's link got wiped. So the host just streamed the show. It's the first time we were able to listen to the Joe Rogan show 12 hours in advance. That was amazing.
And it was a good one. I've only listened to the first hour, but wow. I mean, they just start off with the Kona Blue stuff. And
that was wild.
It was like it was for us.
It was literally the first word he said. It was like before they even started rolling, officially, he was like Kona Blue. But I mean, the timing of that I do find really interesting, and who he talked about. It's what they do,
right away, you could tell he's talking about Lou Elizondo, right? I mean, that's who is Tucker's contact has to be. He's like, as some guy is like reading the text message, and like you can like see in his glasses, everyone's like trying to figure out the glare of like who he's talking to because you can see the little screen in his glasses. Dude. But he's talking about A-Tip. To me, it's got to be Lou Elizondo. I mean, I don't know who else it would be from 2008.
Should we go there first?
Yeah, maybe.
In our time machine to 2008, let's do it.
We'll do this because there were so many bombs. We could dissect this Tucker thing for a little bit here. It'll be fun. But then we do want to get into the whole community notes thing, and your re-blow up that you're having right now, Hodgie twins or whatever, and that Ian guy.
Yes.
Yeah, cancel this clothing company.
And your redacted interview sending and whatnot. I feel like MH370 got like a gust of I don't know, like a surge of life in the movement and stuff. You guys are busting new community notes, like chopping wood. It's lit.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of it's the debunkers. People are like, didn't you retire? It's like, I'm trying to retire, but then, we have the resurgence of the interview. It's not like I'm turning down redacted. And it took them like 2 weeks to post a video, and I didn't matter. Like, I was telling people the next day that was going to be a fire interview. And I watched it. It's my best interview I've ever done, I think.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then it started to get attraction. Then the debunkers came out of the woodwork, of course, and like weirdo debunkers as well. Like people saying that I've got like a bot armies and they're going to try to out me. And I'm like, okay, man. And then one of them actually gave us the best evidence I think that we've maybe gotten in months. They came out and said, this wasn't produced on, videos weren't made in Adobe After Effects. They were made using this quick terrain modeler software. And I'm like, I've never heard of that. So I just look it up. And it says right on there, this is the software that the DoD and military and all branches of the military, DoD and intelligence community use. And I'm like, what? That's not a debunk. That's like, in my mind, there's only two ways this ends, which is those videos are real, and that's the software that the Cyber system uses to relay the satellite data to ground-based computers, or they fake these videos somehow with some internal software for some reason I don't know that they're going to have to explain to us. So that person posted that. I was like, how does this debunk the videos? And if you guys watch my live stream, I went in a space because someone was like, this guy's in a space right now. He starts playing coy after he drops that, being like, I will tell everybody on June 1st how this debunks the videos. I'm like, what?
Oh, was that estimate of the situation space?
I think it was one of theirs. I don't know all
Where they were
the.
talking about Rick Doty, and then that's where that
Yeah.
Skyfire News meme came from. Yeah, that one.
Yes, yeah. The Fessler jumped in,
Yeah.
and then I saw the guy. So I confronted him. I'm like, "What's the deal?" And he just like panics, like sounds like he was gonna cry, and he
Dude.
wouldn't tell me. And then he just starts making slurs at me, what have you. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, all I wanted to know is why you think this debunks the videos and how you found out about this. How do you find this? Because I kept thinking back, like if I had found this in like October or November, I would have been all over it. So the whole MH370 stuff starts getting bigger. The debunkers get more aggressive with their debunks.
Well, what's your gut on that
West.
one though? The guy.
what?
How do you? So when you have guys like this who come out of the woodwork with some like really obscure piece of knowledge like that, and like almost seem like particularly motivated, what do you think? Just a random person on the internet, a redditor? You think there's something more maybe?
Oh no, they're definitely all redditors. And we found this guy. So, and I mean, if you're gonna come at me like this, go delete your post history. At least.
Right.
First thing I'm doing is I'm looking through your post history. If I see you coming at me aggressively like this, we find he's talking to Think Tank and he's got his Redditor name on there. I go look at his Redditor name. I find out, like, I don't even have to go look back more than a couple of days, and he's slandering me on the Debunker subreddit. He's admitting that he was addicted to gambling, addicted to multiple pills, and I'm just like, okay, man, like,
Sounds familiar.
this
Sounds
is like,
very
don't throw
familiar.
stones when you live in a glass house, man. And then now I guess he's like sitting out there telling, saying how he's gonna catch me in my bot army that he thinks I have. Like, a lot of these people, I don't know what their deal is. Like, if you have some information, just present it to the world, man. Like, when you do all this drama and fanfare, it doesn't come off as sincere. The reality is, this is my opinion. I'm personally 100% in my opinion, but these videos are going to get proven real at some point. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, week from now, or if it's going to be years from now or whatever. But there's been verifiable information has been given to Arrow and the government, like that. That's either the Cyber system right there. We tracked the plane with multiple assets, or we didn't. That's verifiable information. That's an MQ-1C Gray Eagle drone, and we have coordinates. We know exactly where it is. They can find this out. They can go, literally the simplest thing is just go look up Edward C. Lynn, talk to him, and find out what information is available on the internet he leaked. I mean, that's just game over right there. So, I look at this. This is going to get confirmed one way or another. So there's no reason beating around the bush. And I think that people are starting to look at this now, and they're going, there's actually like a lot of evidence here that this stuff has really happened, as much as it is impossible to believe. I mean, and this kind of, again, the last thing I'll say is this leads into the UFO community, which is, this just, not only does this shatter a lot of normies out there, NPC, CNN brain type people, but a lot of people in the UFO community are shook by this because it either usurps them, it challenges their preconceived notions and beliefs about the phenomenon, but it also challenges what anyone thinks is possible. Like, if we can warp an object, warp a plane, like, we're so far beyond what anyone was expecting. And it starts to put into focus this idea of, like, what's this phenomenon all about? I think that can leak into, the Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson stuff in the first 30 minutes, an hour. They're sitting there talking about what's the nature of the phenomenon? Why are they hiding it? What's been going on? How long is this going on? And I'm looking at this, I'm going, your answers are right here in 2 military videos. This is some crazy crap. And if you were to leak this to the public, people are going to freak the hell out. They already are.
They really are.
There's also I've never seen anything like it in the community, and I've been in the community since like 2017, right? There's been like so much weird campaign to like discredit these, and people just kind of fall into like the social norm of like almost with the mummies, right? I'm not even like saying on either side of this debate for both of those, but like people will come out so hard and not even know like the debunks, at least, you know what I mean? I feel like you should at least have an understanding of like the arguments and whatnot, but people are just kind of like primed, I feel like, for this and the mummies to just instantly dismiss it.
Well, and the debunks are weird. I was online the other day. I saw one from Mick West about the contrails. And at first I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But as, again, someone with some 3D experience, I would not know why you would add the contrails in later and not sync them up. And we're talking about the camera shake. There was a video saying that the camera shakes, and it's how you stabilized it. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with proving that it was like a render or whatever. And he said, like, there's more evidence, but this is all you need. And it's like, dude,
he's so confident about it too. And then like people
100%.
just destroy him. Like, one person's like, here, I did the same thing to he does an example. He's got like a plane at the sky that's looking up, and they just lower the bit rate on it by like taking another recording on it. And you can see the contrails do the same exact thing on that video. And he's like, this could easily just be a bit rate thing. And then somebody else comes in and goes, I literally recreated it using stabilization software, because Mick West's argument was there, well, the plane is also shaking in the one where he did the bit rate change. And so somebody else jumps in, this It's BS guy, which, by the way, this guy's not a follower of mine. He's not even a friend of mine. We've argued many times. We don't follow each other or anything.
Really?
He has no reason to support me whatsoever. And he comes in and just completely proves Mick West and all the debunkers wrong, uses stabilization software, and shows that what's happening is that the stabilization software thinks that the contrails are part of the background. And that's the reason why it's making it look like it's separate. And you shouldn't need to do this anyway, because when you look at the normal video, there's no shaky contrails. It's just that the camera is shaking because it's a drone video and it's zoomed in. Like, just like if I were to zoom in with my camera. So, like, the reason why I love this personally, and the fact that Mick West went all in on that, is that it just goes to show how dishonest Mick West and the debunkers are. They don't have any rational thought. Like, to them, it's about proving their preconceived notions correct. When they get proven wrong, they don't change their opinions.
Yes.
They don't ever admit they're wrong. Dude got proven wrong conclusively multiple times, didn't even consider admitting he was wrong. You know, so it's just, and that's honestly, I couldn't ask for any better discrediting than what they did to themselves.
You know, the videos here, they almost are raising the bar for debunkers, because they had it so easy, which was just cast doubt so that the people who don't want to look dumb just stop presenting it like, hey, I think there's something to it, which is what they wanted to do with this, and what you were able to basically fend off. You know what I mean? Like, in an amazing way. It's been amazing to watch you bob and weave all the debunks, all the attacks, all
I
the,
think you invented
the propaganda.
in this
Yes,
community.
and Reddit brain and CNN brain is sticking forever, dude. That's sticking forever.
It's gonna stick. It's gonna stick around,
Dude.
man.
It is,
And
for
I'm
sure.
gonna bring back the ether as well. People think the ether is some magical thing.
No, we're
bringing
on
it
this-
back. I'm making it
you-
cool again.
Yeah, you and me are on the same boat. The ether's real.
Yeah.
Einstein admitted the ether's a thing. Like, it was always a thing. And to hide this kind of physics, they had to erase fundamental aspects of our understanding of physics so that we never knew where to look. The ether is this really big tell. And you know who talks about the ether? Who talks about it coming back, and that it never left, and that this is actually what the space-time stuff is? Eric Davis. The Eric,
Really?
I can never tell a lie, Davis. So Portal, and guess what? You know what? You know what's interesting too? You know what Eric Davis has papers on? Portals, teleportation, and portals. Get the shit out of here, dude.
It's pretty weird.
Could
That
there
guy
be a
knows. By
connection?
the way, I'm gonna go on the record and say that guy knows. He probably knows these videos are real. He knows we can warp an object. And I prefer the term warp because it's more of like bending space-time is, I think, more accurate. When people think teleportation, the problem is they always think Star Trek, dematerialize and rematerialize, and they go, we can't do that. That's too complicated. And I agree. We can't do that because it's not a matter of to completely destroying something and reconstructing it. It's a matter of just moving it and using, you know, the concepts of Schrodinger and double slit experiment and the idea that you can bend gravity. But he knows, and I think he's just a liar. He's one of those people that, like, he's getting paid so much money to do what he does for the government that he has no problem lying to people. And this is why I think he doesn't do podcasts either. You know, these people don't make themselves available because
you think Mick West is for sure getting paid by the government?
oh no, not Mick West, Eric Davis is what I'm
Oh,
talking
Eric.
about.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
Eric
for
Davis
sure,
is
Eric
getting-
Davis.
Yeah, Eric Davis. So Eric Davis is getting paid, and that's why he doesn't do podcasts, because if you expose yourself, that's how you accidentally get yourself caught in a lie. Where he knows the technology is real, he works on the special access programs. And that's the problem. Is there's some people out there that they get off on the idea that they know about this technology and the rest of the world doesn't know about it. And he could come out tomorrow and be like, "Yep, those videos are real. I've been working on that stuff," but he never will. And that's part of the reason why it's so easy to hide it. Mick West, I go back and forth on this guy. The reason why I think Mick West, and I asked him straight up, he claimed that he was not being paid directly or indirectly by the government. I have him on the record saying that. So if it ended in the future, he lies about that. We know.
Cool.
But I think for him, the reason why it's sketchy is that he's been doing this for like 15 or more years, 17 years or something like that. He's been a professional debunker. Where it's like, you know, you got to make money doing something in this world. Everybody does. And the fact that he's not upfront about where he makes his money and how he makes his money is very sketchy to me. But the other side of it is that I can just tell that he's just straight up brainwashed. He's brainwashed normie NPC person who, I mean, he said it. He literally said it in his article about MH370, which is that, like, he only gets involved in this when it starts to get over like millions of views. because he sees himself as some kind of savior. And I honestly think he's just projecting his own insecurity, where he says that if this was real and the government was capable of a cover up this magnitude, that you would be forced to give credit to the idea that you could steal an election, or he calls it QAnon, which there's no real QAnon, but the idea that other conspiracies could be real.
That's a great point. Tucker even talks about that. I don't know if he got to that part in the interview. And actually, I think we might have it. But he basically is like, how did you get into UFOs? And he was like, some of the Trump stuff, and not to get political or anything, but this is what he said. The Trump stuff with the spying on his campaign, he was like, that just like shattered my conspiracy wall. And then right at that time, Lou Elizondo hops in his DMs 2017, and he was just like, yeah, like what you're saying. Like, I feel like once one wall comes down, it's like a lot of walls. It's not just disclosure. It's like acknowledgement that the government can like manipulate your mind, your reality, what you think you know, to a degree that like fundamental aspect of reality you don't think is real. I don't know.
No, 100%. And this is where I think this is the problem with the UFO community in general, is that this politics angle comes into play. And love it or hate it, right now, I'd say that you have the people that are more conspiratorial, believing in nature, are on the right-wing side of American politics. And on the left-wing side, you have the people that don't believe that there can be these conspiracies, which in the UFO community is a big problem, because the only way any of this UFO stuff can be real is if there's a major conspiracy that's been covering it up for a long time. And it's not that these people automatically fall on one side or the other related to those politics, but that politics divides the community. And it then becomes a situation where they're like, yes, I can believe in this conspiracy, but I can't believe in anything that goes beyond my paradigm of what I think the government would lie about. And this is where I had originally thought the UFO community would not have these type of political boundaries in them, but instead you see it everywhere.
They shame the word conspiracy like it's a disease. Like, oh, that's conspiratorial thinking. It's like, bro, we're in the UFO community. What do you mean?
This is where it's like I kind of question, especially like, because I was talking to Jack Sarfati. He's obviously very right wing, very big Trump supporter, what have you. And he hates the Soul
very
Foundation.
right wing, huh?
Yes. And he was, hating on a lot of them. And I got this perception that he thought a lot of them were on of the left wing liberal perception. And this is the part where it makes me wonder, is that those are the types of people that, yes, they're willing to believe that there is UFOs. They're willing to even believe there's aliens, but they're not willing to believe our government would teleport or warp a plane, because that then questions their paradigm of their government being good.
Yeah.
And there's like literally the dirts. There's like stuff you could point at where like, dude, they were investigating the stuff. That's why I find it so interesting. And I think to my credit, right, for the MH370 community, I do think one day Eric Davis will make a comment, but I think what I got Sean Cahill to say is like one of the highest ranking like disclosure bro comments on those videos. And he was like, it goes along with the dirts.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
That was
real
a great
quick
comment.
I have a clip pulled up of Eric Davis, so we can all get an idea of who he is, how he talks, what he's about, and he's talking to these two other physicists about the ether, about this idea of what the quantum foam.
Isn't that Science Bob?
No.
Are you sure?
You just think all white people look the same, dude? Like,
are you serious? That's not Science Bob? I feel bad if it's.
I'm 50-50 actually. Now that you mention that,
Science Bob is very hard on the left. I've seen his politics on Twitter. He loves to let us know.
He's super hard. But to each their own. You know, we don't all have the answer.
Yeah, is that Science Bob on the right?
Politics. Is that Science Bob on the right? Is that Nick Pope in the middle? Is that Nick Pope in the middle? Okay, so check this out. This is
what I can say is that I've never blocked anybody for politics, not once ever. So
I don't
funny.
Anymore. Here we go. Eric Davis.
Prism through which, or a tank of water through which a beam of light goes. We're back to the ether.
All right, this is really important. I don't know if it's too quiet, but he's talking about it is super quiet. This is just the nature of this recording. Jesus,
that big.
Like a prism through which, or a tank of water through which a beam of light goes. We're back to the ether. It is an ether, and Einstein reinserted the ether with general relativity, the ether of geometry. The space-time metric was Einstein's ether, and Einstein was asked about that, and he said, well, guess what, folks? I just said that space-time is a stretchable, elastic material. The space-time metric is the mathematical quantity that describes that stretching of space-time. Guess what? I just reintroduced the ether into relativity theory.
Boom. Boom.
He's honestly my dream
back,
commenter
chat.
on those videos.
Back.
Dude. You need to interview him. You need to interview this guy. Ashton.
Who, me?
Yeah, it'd be dynamic. He's the guy. He's like
you guys probably didn't hear my interview with Tom Montauk just now, right before this, but that was mind blowing, man. It was great. We talked about the ether. He basically said that physicists now are just talking about like the virtual particles and that space isn't empty. There's energy in there, and they're just redefining ether in a way that's like more palatable. And I just, when he said that, I'm gonna have to clip that later because that was straight on the money. That's what it is that we have this dogma where we're too afraid to invalidate the people that came before us and what they said. So now we just got to come up with these different terms. It's the ether. Ether is coming back.
Ether's coming back. You heard it here first, guys.
Isn't the ether the explanation for, was it somebody, not, I don't want to say the wrong name, but it was the guy from defense contractor who asked another one, like, how could something be teleported, or how does this work? How does psychic phenomena work? How does this faster than light travel work? And his answer was like, all things in time and space are connected. All points are connected. The ether is the material for that. That's what Eric Davis was explaining first, is that we're essentially, the ether is the water inside the tank that we all live in. If we were aquatic, like it is the material we exist in. As light travels through the ether, that's essentially time. We are light traveling through the ether. I mean, this is kind of some David Rossi stuff, right? Like,
oh, for sure, love that guy. But
yeah,
so it's like we're in a fish tank and we don't notice that we're in a fish tank. And the only reason why we think the speed of light is constant is because we see the light in our fish tank. And that's why when we push the light, like he was just saying, through water, you see a refraction in it. We're seeing the refraction through our perception of space-time. And if you strip that away, now the speed of light's not constant anymore. Now the speed of light can go maybe close to infinite speed. Tesla's reportedly measured at 50 times what we think the speed of light is. Thomas Bearden says that he was able to measure it experimentally in private labs 8 times the speed of light. People wonder, how is faster than light communication possible? This is how. The ether. That's the answer to faster than light travel, faster than light communication, all this stuff that we see out there. It's honestly the answer to the UFO phenomenon that we are all struggling with out there. This is why I want to talk to Joe Rogan. You know, he thinks that he doesn't want to talk to me because Jeremy Corbell told him he thinks the MH370 videos are wrong. And then I listened to him talking to Tucker Carlson, and they're asking all these questions about it. And I'm like, I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I can give you the context you need to get to those answers.
Let's get into that too, because that ties into the Kona Blue stuff. And yeah, there was some scandal over the night with this episode. Nothing too crazy, but and I want to touch with you, Ashton, about this materialization bit in Kona Blue. Right, we're all UFO nerds, so this Kona Blue stuff was pretty interesting. Let me see, is this better? There we go. All right, so yeah, last night, Jamie, we now confirmed, people were making conspiracies, I guess, but Jamie messed up and accidentally posted this episode last night. Pavel, friend of the show, and Logan were able to super clutchily get the recording. So we listened to it in a space like 12 hours before it came out. It was super cool. And this was one of the first things that stuck out. So there's been this Kona Blue discussion, right? This program that's been declassified, or this program proposal. And I already knew this was a thing. I don't know if you saw our Kona Blue episode, Ashton, but Kirkpatrick was going around saying that like multiple people who were interviewees came to him saying that Kona Blue was like the legit thing. So I already knew that was like a talking point out there, although it wasn't really like mainstream in ufology. But this for sure, and we're all going to listen to it together, it sounds like he's totally talking about Lou Elizondo, and Lou Elizondo is saying Kona Blue is 100% legit, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's listen to it.
That's what it sounded like to me. And I don't trust Sean Kirkpatrick, just for the record, for everybody's out there.
Wait, what was that?
Fair.
I was just saying I don't trust Sean Kirkpatrick, but fair enough, I don't really trust anybody. So, and guys, there's some people out there that are worried about like some of the influencers who are reaching out to me because we got burned by Kim.com once already. I don't trust anyone at face value. And at this point, I'm not going to tie myself directly to anybody either. So like even let's say like Ian Carroll, I love that dude. He was looking at some of my comments. He was replying to some of my stuff. He wanted to look at my evidence and what have you. Even if we do a collaboration, I'm going to, leave it where I'm not going to permanently tie my ship to him or anything like that. Even though I love him and totally respect everything that he's been doing, because reality is this investigation is going to get still tied to me, MH370X. Other people want to do collabs. I would love it. Absolutely. I want to get more attention to it, but I don't want to have the same thing happen to Kim.com where he takes this huge following, ties it to me, and then comes in and goes, oh no, this is debunked. And like, he doesn't listen to anything I say and does that. Like I've learned my lesson. Let's just leave it at that.
That's really wise. Cause it's like all that positive press and energy, like flipped, you know what I mean? Yeah. So pretty smart to do that. But yeah, this is This is what Tucker Carlson had to say to Joe Rogan about this Kona Blue program that we've been talking about.
U.S. government.
And is this really quite?
So I got this from someone in the
Sounds
U.S.
good.
government who's well, look. Let me just start by saying I don't know anything, but he sent me this. The above is 100% legit. I was read into this program, but told never to tell anyone. It's now been released. As you can see, it began as a result of my old program, AATIP. I signed a document saying I would never talk about Kona Blue and similar efforts. I can't believe the AARO would have released it. Look, I mean, here's what we do know is that there's enough going on in the skies, but not just the skies, underwater, that the U.S. military has been forced to respond to it. So, like, move aircraft from one place to another because there are too many of these objects in the sky. That's actually happened. Chris Mellon just wrote a long piece about it.
All right. So what do you guys think of that? That was huge.
So I want to
right?
react first because
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'm an investigator. So when I listen to this now, like my brain is like asking all these questions about who's connected to who and what have you. First thing I'm getting out of this is that Tucker Carlson is connected to Lou Elizondo, like talking to him, texting with him. Someone says it could be Jay Stratton, maybe. Feels like Lou Elizondo to me. He's also very familiar with Chris Mellon here as well. So this starts to get you this idea of who is he getting his information from. The other thing I realized too from this is that Tucker Carlson is being very standoffish. He says, "I don't know anything." He's being trying to be as neutral as he can on it, just not trying to put any strong opinions out there for other people as well, which tells me that he doesn't know exactly what the situation is and that he's not sure if he's being fed disinformation or not that's out there. But he's just saying, like, this guy's telling me this is legit, and this person signed a statement saying that they had to be silent about it. So I think this gives us like kind of a context and framework for how we should absorb this information, both from the Kona Blue as well as Tucker Carlson and the stuff that he thinks and believes.
That's a great point. It's like these high profile figures who aren't really in the community but dabble. And I think the same goes for politicians. You could really tell like who's talking to them. You know what I mean? By what they say, obviously who they reference. I do have this. This is from later in the interview.
Someone
We didn't even
from
clip this one, but
know,
here's he talking. He's talking about like meeting Lou Elizondo in 2017. So like you're absolutely right. And we'll go.
someone from, a DOD employee reached out to me and said, actually, there's a ton of evidence that this UFO thing is real. And really? And so I started doing segments on it when I worked at the TV channel. And there was like a lot of mockery, but I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to do this. And then, of course, the second you start, as you know better than anybody, you start talking about something, then people reach out to you, and some of them are deranged.
We should probably pause it because Joe Rogan's pretty insane, and we should probably just shuffle around a bit. Boom.
But that part too, right there, where he says, some people, everybody starts reaching out to you. Like I've experienced that myself. Like the moment you start to get a platform and you put information out there, early on, I had everyone and their mother sending me images and videos of lights in the sky, like more than I could ever handle. And even now, I still get a lot of stuff. Even once a week, I get somebody saying, I've got information I've got to give to you, whatever. And I get it. And 99.9% of the time, it's, nothing necessarily relevant that's out there. And I understand that. I don't mean to put anyone down out there who says that stuff. But it does become very difficult because I can understand what Tucker is thinking here, because then it's like it becomes a matter of what information do you accept and what information do you not. And this is where it becomes very difficult to weed out the disinformation from the reality. And it really comes down to your own critical thinking skills and filter of the information to determine that.
Yeah. And I think we see like, I think Joe Rogan sounds to be like less enthused. Like you would almost think going into this, the enthusiasm levels on this topic would be flipped, right? Joe's kind of, I feel like, kind of getting wary, it seems like, of the whole disclosure narrative. He was saying earlier it's a psyop and whatnot. But yeah, Lou's definitely known him for a long time. We don't have to watch this. We could just leave it on. But
badly I want to mention the videos in that I wanted Joe Rogan to be like, what do you think about these crazy videos that Kurt Metzger showed me? Like, I really want him to, but I agree with you. I think that Joe Rogan is feeling very psyop-y in general, whereas Tucker Carlson's like, dude, I'm talking to DOD people and they're telling me this stuff's real. It's like I did a bunch of segments on Fox News over it because they were telling me it was real.
Bro, I could see you going on Tucker. I
Oh,
could
yeah.
see that happening soon.
Easily.
Soon. Is it happening, Ashton?
I don't know. What I'll say is that Clayton Morris knows Tucker Carlson. They worked at the same news company together.
Oh, what?
So that would be very interesting. If Tucker Carlson, either Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan, absolutely promise I could blow their minds, no question whatsoever. Whether or not they believe me or not, I don't know. But I have the evidence that that they can see with their own eyes, and I have the supporting evidence as well that can prove that the stuff's possible.
I think you would crush it, dude.
Yeah.
Real quick, Tucker Carlson referenced Gary Nolan as well, right? And he had Gary Nolan on his show. And I just want to play this clip to show like how I think he's probably very much in contact with Nolan as well. And so Nolan, Mellon, and Elizondo. Check this out.
So if you give people permission in a place where they will not be ridiculed, you have a much more open conversation about a subject matter that's so important. And for many people, you call them experiencers, or you see something like that. I mean, I saw something when I was very young, when I was 12 as a paper boy, went right over my head. And
What did you see? Where were you?
This is Connecticut,
What town?
Windsor.
I know it.
Yeah, you went to Trinity.
Outside Hartford. Yeah.
Yeah,
Windsor locks.
Windsor locks. And
Sound kind of close to me. Chat, what do you
Am I
guys
the
think?
only one that doesn't have an experience out there?
I don't.
Oh, you don't have one? What about you, Tupa? I don't think I've ever asked.
Oh no, I flew a couple UFOs as a kid. I was in Project Stargate, Project Pegasus. I went to Mars with Obama. No, but I've never seen a
Was Mike
craft.
Obama out there?
He was leading the charge. Okay, so I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen an alien. I developed a really heightened sense of like a fear of being abducted when I was a kid, and I would, the aliens. I think it was X-Files and everything else. But when I was even younger, I woke up and saw what people describe as the lady, and that's how I would describe it as well. So there was this floating woman in my room. She was like staring at me. It scared the shit out of me, and that's the only time it ever happened. But it was a very formative experience that caused him to be, more afraid of the dark than normal, and kind of aware that there's something else out there, and interested in things like unsolved mysteries and sightings, and like that other world. I've always been interested since then, because you see something like that and you just like your whole reality gets shaken. And I imagine it's the same thing for a UFO, because they don't fly normal. It's not like you saw
What
a
did
new
you
type
think
of
when you
jet.
saw Bledsoe and like the similarity? Because I feel like before Bledsoe, I don't hear about the lady, but now I feel like the lady is like a thing, right?
Well, I had another thing happen where I read a biography of a man named Edgar Casey, and there he described seeing the lady as a kid. And so I knew. And then also, remember, my classmate saw the lady as well, and she was on an episode of Sightings. So for me, it had already been established pretty strong. And I got really interested in the Bledsoe case because I heard about his original story. But in his original story, he doesn't experience the lady. His sighting, his first experience happens in 2007, like right away, like 2006, 2007. And then it goes on to 2012 when he has the first sighting with the lady, and that goes on and on. So like I wasn't aware of that until I got into the deep Bledsoe lore. But when I found out about it, I was like, yeah, for sure.
Were you shocked? Were you like, of course?
Yes. Yeah. I was very shocked.
I would be stunned if I was you, and because the girl saw it too, your classmate. But yeah, wild. But yeah, here's what they said about Gary Nolan on Tucker. It's pretty interesting stuff here.
I interviewed someone who was a Stanford medical school professor who's out there and worth talking to, by the way. And
You talking about Gary Nolan?
that's exactly who I'm talking about.
Why did you just say his name?
Effectively an expert witness in the
Yeah, so they all know the circle, dude. I think it's probably the same circle Weinstein talked about, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you could tell who's talking to them. They're not talking to, I don't know. Do you think he's talking to John Greenwald?
I don't think so. It concerns me though, because even Gary Nolan and Lou Elizondo, I think I have reason to believe, let's say, that I know he knows the kind of technology in the MH370 videos are real, and that the same reason, he gave it away when he talked about the Kona Blue thing. He signed a document so he could never talk about that. I bet he signed a lot of documents about stuff he can't talk about. Gary Nolan, I think that it's simply a bridge too far for him, because anyone who's in academia that's out there is only, I think, if they're not in the special access program side, working for the government directly, they only think whatever is possible is what they see out there. And people may ask, well, why is Lou Elizondo not talking about this kind of technology if we can really warp a plane, stuff like that? The answer is because it's national defense, and he's a military guy. So he respects his country, and he knows that he will go to prison if he brings up anything that's going to, make any issues with national defense. And this is why this explains why when he does all these interviews.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
This explains why when he does all these interviews, he's like, I can't talk about that at all, because he's thinking in the back of his mind, is this going to give away national security secrets about this technology if I mention anything about how they operate or what have you? Because as I've been saying all along, and even like what Eric Weinstein said, this is a Pandora's box. The moment you figure out that we've unified quantum field mechanics and general relativity, and that scalar physics and there's an ether and all this stuff is real, everything comes out. You've just taught all our enemies, Iran, North Korea, ISIS, or the next ISIS, apparently ISIS is still a thing, how they can produce this type of stuff. And that's a national security risk. That's a national defense risk. I think, to me, this explains everything about the UFO phenomenon.
Yeah, it's almost like a new atomic age, right? And it's like, do you want everyone to be able to destroy a planet?
Well, here's the other aspect. You don't get freaked out. Tom Montauk gave me a few other things that creep me out. He actually came up, he said, without being prompted, the idea of destroying the planet. But he said, well, what if you had machines that could extract energy from the ether, have infinite energy, and then self-replicate? And now you've got machines floating around like it's Terminator, where we have a fascist one-world government, and they're constantly monitoring everything you do. And anytime you break the rules, the machine flies down from the sky and jumps in your window or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, that's pretty damn scary as well.
Yeah, Tom Montauk's probably one of the most knowledgeable people I know in this field. I feel like he's been like going down the deepest rabbit hole since like I think the 90s or something like that. But like Greenwald won't get like I don't know how much Greenwald knows about like Gnostic stuff or stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like Tom Montauk knows about like all that stuff, simulation theory to the nth degree. You know what I mean? So yeah, and he could talk about anything, the nuts and bolts, the metaphysical, history, any time period. I feel like ancient, modern. He's crazy wealth of knowledge, that guy.
Yeah, I was super impressed. Just quick plug, check out my Hard Truth podcast with Tom Montauk. You will be entertained. I absolutely guarantee it. It was incredible.
Yeah, and the graphics over there are looking sick.
Yeah, thank you, my graphics designer, Heather Birdie, in the chat right now. Appreciate
Crushing
you.
It.
I'm gonna give her a shout out on my Twitter here as well. Probably tomorrow. I forgot to do it today. But yeah, if you guys need graphics stuff, Heather Birdie, I think, produced all your guys' stuff, or at least some of it, and all of mine. So check her out.
Yeah, she's a cool person.
Talented. And yeah, your show is looking good. Like your overlays
I've been
and
getting so many viewers. Like, wow. Yeah, so I might have to, put a little bit more effort into this as well, guys. I've been, I don't know. It's tough. I still have a full-time job. It's still surprisingly, it's tough to do all this stuff. But I do like being part of the UFO community, talking with cool people like you guys. And for the people out there that I do rag on the UFO community a lot, because I do think it's mostly clowns out there, but there's a lot of cool people as well, like Skyfire News. People that, we're going to his demons and his angels. I feel like it's coming. Tom Montauk talked about the extra dimensional aspect of this, and the part that Tupa for you that kind of leads in is this idea of Jack Sarfati talked about retrocausality, where you can't change the past, but you can go back to the past. But Tom Montauk said, well, imagine it where there's like more than one loop. And now you have this idea of like you can go back, and maybe there's shared intersection points as well out there. And maybe if those shared intersection points, like everything's not exactly equivalent when you combine them. And now you have this situation where maybe there is a being that's like half phased in, half not phased in. There's your demons. They're coming.
There it is.
Well, yeah, let's finish this. This is another creepy thing from this. Listen to what Gary Nolan tells Tucker Carlson these UFOs are doing to people.
Know him.
Yeah.
Entirely credible person. Checks all the boxes that I care about. He's got patents, so he's like a lot of Stanford University professors. He's like independently rich. He flew to, I live in a remote place, and he flew to my place at his own expense because he wanted to tell his story. So he's got no profit motive here. He's the most highly credentialed person at the university, practically, Stanford Medical School. We consider that a big deal. And he's worked on this for over 10 years, assessing the injuries to U.S.
Right. I'm going to just pause there for a little, just to copyright stuff. What do you think of this so far, Tupa? Quick.
I agree with almost everything that he's saying. right? But it does show a large admiration and consideration of Gary Nolan as an authority on this topic, which he very well might be. He's one of the people I cite the most. You know what I mean? And so like, and it's because even in my own research, I found a lot of the stuff that he says jives with my stuff exactly. Even the weird fringe stuff, right? It just jives with it. So I consider him an authority as well. But the way that he's like validating it, and like, you got to wonder what kind of conversations are they having? Because I've combined so many different Gary Nolan interviews that describe clearly that what he believes about the phenomena, which is that they're angelic, demonic. They've been around forever. They're the archetypes. They're the muses. They're everything that we think of. They're like constructing our societies through our ideas. They're making our music. They're making our art. They're making our technology, all that stuff. And so that's what he believes. And then you go, okay, well, if you talk to Tucker, maybe does that align? And he in this interview, he goes into that too. And
yeah,
so
but listen to this. I haven't heard this before. This is some dark stuff. Tell me if you've heard Gary Nolan say this, because you've listened to a bunch of it. Listen, we're at the end right here.
U.S. servicemen from being in close proximity to these objects or having contact. And he's worked on this for over 10 years, assessing the injuries to U.S. servicemen from being in close proximity to these objects or having contact with these objects. And his conclusion, as you know, because you've talked to him, is that there's some kind of energy coming off here that scrambles people's brains or kills them. And it's not
some kind of energy that comes off of UFOs that scrambles people's brains or kills them.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Havana stuff, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, there's these, you can separate the cases, is what he said, right? And I think it's through man-made efforts that mimic that technology that isn't quite honed in, like surgery with a butter knife versus surgery with a laser, which is what the phenomenon seems to be doing, right? And the idea that it's giving off energy, I think that's true to some extent. We know about the hitchhiker effect. We know about all these different levels where something is stimulated in the brain. Now, if you go back into what Gary Nolan and his friends, they believe through Rosicrucianism, you can find that they are looking for a spontaneous opening of the senses, right? Through the heart and then the mind. And then once that happens, once that's enlightened, it's highly energetic. And that's what Gary Nolan is honing in on with the caudate putamen, right? It's an older idea translated through modern science, modern medicine. And that's like this overstimulated part of the brain, the basal ganglia structure, which is the source for intuition, which is non-temporal information that people seem to be able to get about future events, past events, whatever, right? Like there's something there for that. And so this idea that the phenomenon stimulates that part of the brain is kicking into high gear, or at the very least taking advantage of a natural part of our own consciousness and how we think and how we function. And the phenomenon is hitchhiking or hijacking that and has to juice it up in order to communicate what it wants to communicate to us, which seems to be all these different sciences, ideas. I mean, look at Tim Taylor, a scientist, a NASA scientist who claims to be doing protocols in order to keep that communication in high effect. From sunlight to water to no caffeine, he's really like putting in the work in order to create a connective tissue between himself and this same phenomenon, right? So it's hurting some people when it hits them forcefully, and it's hurting some people when it happens to them spontaneously. But what the Havana syndrome seems to be is when it's happening to someone purposefully, when someone else is aiming that at somebody to stimulate that same part, which is why the Havana syndrome cases and these other cases of experiencers, why their brain scans look similar in the first place. But
yeah, I mean, to me, I think that this can be directly tied to scalar weaponry, as talked about by Thomas Bearden, and I think the same concepts can be applied in a different way, which allow for an object to float. I think that there may be a connection between this and crop circles and people, getting sick as well. One thing that I've heard a lot, even before I jumped in the UFO community, I was just digging around crop circles, stuff like that, is this idea of plasma vortexes and electrohydrodynamic radiation. And that, I'll just say this. I don't want to be underneath a UFO, directly underneath a UFO that's hovering in the sky, because there's something between me and the ground. There's that thing in the ground, and I don't want to be in between it. I want to be somewhere else. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's going to fry your brain in unusual ways. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if we've found those crafts, or they crashed and we reverse engineered them, or whatever it is, and we turned it into a weapon where we can shoot it. Also, this video, yes, this is the one of the earliest crop circle videos where these orbs just instantly make a crop circle. And supposedly they claim some guy went to a bar and said that he faked this somehow.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. I dug into this hard back in, like, I want to say 2018. Yeah.
I got community noted on this. I posted this like earlier this year, last year, and it just sent. And then all of a sudden I get these like community notes hit me like, oh, this was proven to be some debunk. I'm like, bro, I was alive when this shit was around. Like, you don't just, you can't fake this. This is Marvel style like effects. You know, this has been around
for the thing I
30
hate is
years.
that they just say like, debunkers never find who the hoaxer is. And I try to figure out, like, because usually for me it's like, okay, who hoaxed it? Who made it? And it's like, you dig into this one, it's like some guy claimed at a bar that he made it. That's not proof this dude made it. Like, I had like 3 people claim they made the MH370 videos. Of course, at least 2 of them are lying. Probably all 3 of them are. And it turns out they were. But like, that's just not enough. You know, I want to know who hoaxed it, how they hoaxed it. Show me how you did. This is on a VHS tape. Like, what are we talking about here, right? Like, this is predates Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So
it's foolish.
You know, help me out with this a little bit. But
Bro, you
yeah,
should do MH370 mode on like all these 90s crop circle videos and like get the best ones and figure out like what the heck happened.
I might. Now the thing is, like, I've been careful about mixing stuff together so that people aren't like, oh, he just believes whatever hoax stuff. But I do want to talk to John Stewart. If John Stewart's out there, I'm going to help him on his DNI alien video for sure, because the ones to me that are the most credible old school ones that are out there, like we're talking pre-2000, are this and the DNI alien video. Probably those are the only 2 I can think of off the top of my head. But those 2 are the ones where I'm like, who hoaxed this and why? And when I look at the crop circle phenomenon, I had dug into that like probably 2017, like when I first got interested in the UFO stuff. I was like, okay, I'm going to go look back at crop circles because it's pretty damn weird that there were so many. And some of them, including like the Julia set, there's no effing way anybody made that in the middle of the night. It's like 400 perfectly concentric circles.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't 2 old dudes with boards that made that. There's no effing way. And I look at that and I'm like, and then I watched the Y-Files episode on it, and he did pretty much the exact same research that I did. That's why that was the first one where I started to look at Y-Files and go, okay, these guys they're good.
They're good.
And then you realize like there's something to this, and they're still happening every single year. And we're in the TikTok age where people take videos of everything. And there's no videos of anyone making crop circles out there at all, except for like rare ones that are like obviously like, you know, contracted to like Intel to make like a computer chip or something in the crop circle. Or there was one last year that I think was made by like Yeezy or somebody did something in Kansas and whatever. But like, you know, out of all of them that are out there, it's like less than 1% of them have like a logical, simple human explanation.
Real quick, I got a quick question for you, Ashton. Have you ever heard of this this guy? His name is Ken Wheeler.
Oh yeah. I've watched some of his stuff. People early on, they would ping me on Ken Wheeler's stuff all the time. First thing I do is I Google him and I find a bunch of things about Ken Wheeler doesn't know what he's talking about. And then the video that you're talking about here is probably the best video I've ever seen of him. There's 2 that I really like. This one shows he takes a ferrofluid here and he puts a magnet underneath it, and you can actually see the magnetic field lines. And so you can see how they kind of warp inwardly towards the center. And he argues that this is like the dielectric of that, you know, I think he's more of like the electric universe type theory. And that it's just like perturbations through the vacuum is what we're seeing related to everything.
And the ether. He's a proponent of the ether.
And I think he's a good, he calls it like counter space, but it's the same concept as ether, I think. And then the other video that I love of him as well is the one where he takes one of those pin machine, those things that has a bunch of pins on it, and he jams a magnet on it really fast so that you can see the difference between slowly putting a magnet on it and jamming a magnet quickly, and helps you understand how the magnetic force really works in practice. The problem I have with him is, I like his stuff, but he then will do things where he's just being too cocky and speaking in terms that are just go way over people's heads. and hating on Einstein for no reason. Like, even if Einstein's not right, you don't have to pretend like you're smarter than Einstein.
He hates Einstein and Feynman. They're mental midgets, dude.
Yeah.
Like I like him for that reason, because he reminds me of like a Sarfati, right? But he's definitely cocky. But watch this. What Ashton described is it's crazy. What you described is exactly right? He took 2 puck-sized pieces of glass and dropped 1 drop of ferrofluid, which is a magnetic oil, dropped 1 drop on it, and then put the pieces of glass together, sandwiching it in between. This 1 drop gets spread all the way across. Then he wraps LEDs around the sides of the pucks and turns it on, and that's what you're seeing over here. And he puts a magnet underneath, and for some reason you can see the magnetic field lines to such a degree that it looks like a hologram. You're not going to believe this. And the reason why I bring it up, Ashton, is because the balls or the spheres follow the pattern of these magnetic lines, which in terms of the MH370 video, like, but it's I guess it's a generic spiral, but still.
This is why I watched it as well. I mean, you want to understand magnetism. I think understanding electricity and magnetism is extremely important. And that's why I started digging into electrical engineering. People are hating on me like, oh, Ashton's going to learn electrical engineering. Well, laugh at me now. I'm actually starting to understand it. Look at that. It's a literal hologram. It's
and
awesome.
if you look at the pictures of the black holes that they find or that they're taking, that's
like
what they look like.
This is what Brad Voorhees said as well, is that it's not going to look like the movies. It's going to look like what we see as a magnet when we look over ferrofluid, just like this.
Imagine like these forces, these fields are around every magnet and other objects that are magnetic. To see it, right? There's probably a wavelength of light that actually, reflects magnetic fields, but we just aren't sensitive to it. Here, it acts as a translator, a medium that we can see them through. Those are around everything all the time. This is it makes you wonder, like, what could people in the past sense? If their art and their culture was it intuitively based around these designs, or could they see them? Did they know them? Were they getting high on mushrooms? Because something was going on, dude. This is it's an interesting video. And Ken Wheeler produces a lot of he puts different magnets under there. You can see, Isn't that crazy? This is
it does remind me of the idea of that. First of all, it reminds me of the letter to Ashton Forbes. They talk about sacred geometry, and it also reminds me of like this idea of just because a civilization was older than us doesn't mean they were less advanced. Like I just talked with Tom Montauk. We're like, we've had science wrong for 100 years because we rewrote Maxwell's equations incorrectly. And we've just refused to look back at it and go, maybe we messed up when we converted 20 equations down to 4. Maybe we lost something there. Like if we lost something, there's no reason why an ancient civilization couldn't have. And if sound can be used as anti-gravity, sound, then even a civilization that was using sticks and stones and copper and clay vases might be able to reduce the weight of an object, which, you think about the pyramids and you start to realize, maybe that's what they did, or something, along those lines. That video, though, if you guys haven't watched that, check that video out. That's one of my favorites. I showed that on my stream probably a couple months ago.
But here's the last one I wanted to play, because this is Tupa's stuff right here. This is Red Dub Tupa's alley.
Let's go.
And it's interesting. We all know who he was talking to, right?
I know it's going to be all demons.
There we go. Yeah. How do I press play here? Oh, I'm so faded right now.
He's like, hey, Tupa, here you go.
So they're from here, and they've been here for thousands of years, whatever they are. And it's pretty clear to me that they're spiritual entities, whatever that means. They're supernatural, and which is to say, supernatural means above the natural, above the observable nature. And they don't behave according to the laws of science as measured by people, and they've been here for a long time. And there's a ton of evidence they're under the ocean and under the ground. So, like, with that fact set, what do you conclude? So they're from here.
Tupa, you loving that?
Always.
Speaking your language there?
Yeah. I think it's really brave of Tucker Carlson and even Burleson when before he retracted or whatever. But to come out and say this, in my opinion, because and what he goes on to say too, Red, in this clip, not in this clip, but in this area of the show, is that he thinks that the aliens are the lie. That's the cover. That's part of the cover up. And I can't help but to think that's exactly right. It is the alien story that has set us so far back and allowed us to think that we could never accomplish these things. That it's like the government achieves these technological, advances, and then just at the same time uses Hollywood and culture to spread this fear and this narrative that aliens are crashing around. And what are these aliens doing? It's like, don't look at the left hand, look over here at this other thing. It's the total misdirection. And in a lot of ways, like, it fulfills enough of our mythology, right, while also being masked enough as to not trigger people like to be like, oh, this is a psyop. A lot of people believe that believing in aliens was counterculture, but maybe believing in aliens and promoting that idea is the culture. It's the thing they wanted to do, part of the cover-up, because if these beings, if this influence, if this phenomena is above nature, like he said, if it's part of this world, but in a different way, if it has any kind of effect on us, like Nolan says, then we're in for quite a surprise.
It's funny because if you had asked me a year ago, I'd have probably been very adversarial towards the comments you made. I said, no, it can't be demons or future humans, that it would have to be aliens. And now I've actually gone like 180, where now I'm like, I actually think they might just be, the aliens might be a psyop, and that it's either, cryptids in the water, or some type of extra dimensional, or even future humans sending us information from the future. And that it makes total sense to me that they would use that to cover up the fact that we've had these huge advances. I mean, when I look at the crazy technology in the MH370 videos, floaty orbs that are defying gravity, warping a plane, I go, you need a major psyop to cover that up, to explain why we've gotten so advanced in the last 80 years, and you haven't told anybody about it. So I'm still, agnostic about the whole situation in general, but I am starting to lean that way because the story kind of makes sense for why you would push this aliens narrative. And if there are aliens, where are they? Why are we not getting any pictures of them? How come the Las Vegas kid with his 8-foot aliens in the backyard, why are we no pictures of them? How come the Miami aliens, we don't get any pictures of them? We just never get any pictures of aliens anywhere?
That's a great question. And as much as we love the UFO videos and all, like, the, all the stories as well, yeah, we have to come to terms with the lack of evidence, and either it's being scrubbed, very effectively by Big Brother, right? Which is it's possible, hell, but even the MH370 videos found their way to the surface, so you probably couldn't keep it down for too long. And I think when I started to consider the so-called angelic or non-physical element of what these things could be, I'll be honest, a lot of it started to make much more sense. A lot of it did. And when you look at the scholars of this topic, from Carla Turner, and even the really interesting experiencers like Dorothy Izat, that's what they're saying is happening. Why would these things be interested in our souls? Why would they be interested in us? Why would they be taking fluids and, like, why would they be putting trauma into you? Why would they be doing this at all? And where's the evidence? Where's the doorbell cameras? Right? And it just seems like if this is happening, it's happening in a different dimension. If this is happening to people, we are interpreting something that's actually very different. And that goes into exactly what Gary Nolan said, and has been saying for years, along with Diana Pasulka, Jacques Vallée.
There's a schism too, though, right? I think that there's a lot of people out there that they are all in, and it has to be aliens. I think that Dr. Stephen Greer is one of them. Although he's more of the... Yeah, I was gonna get to Corbell, but absolutely, I think that Corbell cannot believe that we have this technology. I think that in his mind, it has to be aliens. I think that's what holds him back from the MH370 videos. And I say that because of the clip that I clipped him on, where the CIA literally told Commander Fravor that the technology that he saw on the Tic Tac was Lockheed Martin. He goes, no. He gets very adversarial towards it. I'm like, dude, have you looked into Lockheed Martin? I mean, they got some crazy advanced stuff, man. And that's the part where it's like, I think the UFO community is their own worst enemy in some cases on some of this stuff, where I don't think you are a diligent UFOologist, I guess we'll call that, researcher, unless you have an open mind about what the phenomenon means. If you're sure it has to be aliens, or you're sure it can't be aliens, then, I think that's a bias that you got to absolve yourself of.
For sure.
Well
For
said.
sure, especially when you're like, people need to at least research it too, right? People will be so adamant about one thing without like looking into it. But I think that's about it from the Tucker thing. We're going to move on to this Elon community notes stuff. Unless there's anything else you guys wanted to say about
No,
Tucker.
let's do it. I was wondering what this Elon picture down here next to me was all about.
Yeah, so I guess this is where this started, right? And actually, first, Ashton, you did say you had a crazy week. What happened with your computer? I saw a bunch of stuff about like your computer like exploded or something on stream.
Yeah, I mean, it like literally exploded. I was sitting there and I was working, and I have my desktop, which you guys are looking at right now, and I have my work computer next to me, and I'm on my work computer, and all of a sudden I hear this really loud pop, and I thought it was the light above me popping, but everything went out, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking around like that's weird. And so I, check all this stuff. Nothing's working. I check the light in the other room, and the light in the other room worked. So I'm like, okay. So I go check the circuit breaker. Turn the circuit breaker was popped. Turn the circuit breaker back on, and then I had unplugged everything. So I start plugging things back in one at a time, and I plug my computer back in, and boom, I hear this loud noise again, and I'm like, oh man, that's not good. I've never heard that. So that was a scary part. So I realized that it was my computer. Computer did not turn on. And when you're dealing with stuff like I'm disclosing, you get a little bit paranoid, but I wasn't trying to get super conspiratorial. I did post a post about it just so that people knew why I couldn't stream for a couple days or whatever. And everybody's running with it. The government must have zapped you with a scalar beam weapon. And if you have any headaches, let me know. And I did get a headache actually, a really bad one. Dude, but I didn't get paranoid. So I brought it to the computer people. It turned out it was just the power supply. So if they did beam me or whatever, they didn't take out any of my data, which is good. I got a new power supply. We're back online. We're good to go again. I'm backing my things up to even a fourth location now. We got some on the cloud, some not on the cloud. Whatever. Everything's protected. So I don't think it was any super nefarious, government zapping me. The nice thing about being as high profile as I've gotten on this is that, I think back to General Flynn when he talked about how people get silenced, is that there's too much forensics nowadays. So, maybe back in the 80s, before we had a lot of DNA forensics and stuff that they could do, it'd be easier just to kill people and you get away with it. But now you can't really get away with that. And he's like, now instead what it's about is disinformation, discrediting people, etc. So I'm not too afraid of any of those types of things, even if it was a realistic.
No, my head canon is it was Sean Cahill browsing around your computer, your router location.
Sean Cahill's the one who gave me that great clip about MH370, right? Isn't he the one?
Yeah. This is the same guy.
I get confused with all these people.
Yeah. So this guy was on the Nimitz. He was a witness of the 2004 Tic Tac. He's really close with Lou Elizondo. I would even say he's second in command. Really? He's always on Fox News, but yeah,
these guys know, man. These guys know the stuff is real, and they're being and by the way, if the government's listening right now, until the government reaches out to me and talks to me, I am just gonna expose my true feelings about everyone and everything that's out there. And when they come and talk to me, I guess you guys will probably find out if I start to talk a little bit differently and talk weird. But these guys know 100% what's going on with this stuff. They know what kind of crazy advanced weaponry and technology we have out there. I think that in the MH370 videos, the orbs we're looking at are hypersonic weapons. We always hear Vladimir Putin talking about hypersonic weapons. Do you think that Vladimir Putin, that Russia has better weapons than we do? No. If they have hypersonic weapons, we have hypersonic weapons. You look up hypersonic weapons, the very first thing you find is that they're enclosed in a plasma sheath. I've been sitting here talking about what we're looking at these videos is a field around the orbs. And then I talked to Bob Greener. He's like, yeah, it's like a plasma field. And then I go look at the DOE's website. They got a literal picture of a plasma orb that looks just like with the same heat signatures as our orbs in the videos. That's our hypersonic weaponry. That's what it looks like. We're looking at it. It's anti-gravitational. And those guys know about it, and they're military people, so they can't talk about it. Just like Edward C. Lynn, they'd go to prison. They don't want to go to prison for 9 years for talking about it, And that's the thing about this, which makes it so difficult, is that when they then lie or they are not forthright with their information, then they open themselves up to criticism. Now the community goes, no, you can't trust that person. They're lying. Because in a sense, they are. They're not really telling the full truth about what they really know. And that's what makes it so easy to keep the stuff hidden. And I don't know that it even takes the government to even pull it off. People are just willing to do it themselves. We got people like Lou Reviews out there, and we've got our Steve Cambrias and Mick Wests and all these other, whack jobs as well that make it super easy to, discredit people and hide stuff.
You know what it is?
People want to debate still, by the way. Anthony Jones, our member, said it earlier. Shouts out our members.
Dude, People
The
love
Midwest debate
debating.
has to happen, Ashton.
Which one do they want me to debate with?
Midwest and Cambion.
No, Mick West is never going to happen. Dude dodged me 4 times.
No.
And even people said yesterday after the whole jittery contrail stuff, he still said he wouldn't debate me. At this point, I won't debate him. I've actually blocked Mick West. I'm actually just going to block all the debunkers because at this point, my following and whatever has grown to the point where I've actually outgrown all the debunkers. So
The reblocking is happening.
it's actually just gonna be the reblocking. And I was trying to avoid blocking people in general.
That's funny.
But the moment anybody goes on a crazy debunking spree or starts attacking me personally, you're getting blocked. No looking back on it, and I'm probably not going to have another unblocking spree ever again. So think twice before you do it. I just don't care at this point. The evidence is overwhelming. The MH270 videos are never going away. They're never going away. So if you think you're gonna like silence and make people think that the videos are fake, that's never gonna happen. The only way that this can ever happen is the government gives us a logical explanation for what they know what happened to the planes. The question is they got to tell us, and this is why the case is so compelling. Is that we proved that the government knows what happened to the plane between the SIBR system, the SOSA system, the over-the-horizon radars, the phone's still ringing. We know the government knows what happened to this plane.
Yeah, separate of the videos.
Then the question is, why are they lying? Why are they lying about it? And when you think about why they would lie about it, it's like the only thing that's big enough to lie about it, cover up this whole cover story, is these videos that we're looking at. And then you look at the video.
What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
Look at the videos here and you're like, this is the reason why you would cover it up. It's impossible to believe that we can warp a plane, that we're that advanced, but this is the reason why they'd cover it up. So the only way this goes away is the government comes clean with it. I'm actually at this point, this is my let's say compromise to the government. Government wants to come out and say, yeah, we edited these videos and made these fake videos to, I don't know. They got to come up with something, some reason for why they made these fake videos. I might even go along with it just because I'll give them an out on this case. I know these videos are 100% real and they're.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. They didn't give me my ScarJo clone. They didn't give me my $10 million. But if they come out now and admit these videos are real and say that, yeah, we had to fake these videos for some crazy reason, I might just go with the flow. As long as they bring me on the inside so that I can take advantage of the super advanced technology and the free energy. And the reason for that, before people get mad at me and say Ashton's a sellout or a psyop or whatever, is because I don't think we can handle this technology. I look at the pushback and the people willing to harm themselves, how angry it makes people to realize that they've been lied to their whole lives, and just the fact that we're going to destroy ourselves. And I go, yeah, the government's probably right in hiding this. Like, it's probably the right thing to do. But unless they bring me in on it, I can't really stop talking. So until then, I'm just going to keep exposing people.
Do you think the principles that these weapons or technology are using in the video, do you think that these are principles that nature takes hold of every once in a while? Could this explain like UFO sightings and random things that we attribute to a craft, which could just be whatever these balls are doing, like whatever principles they're using?
Yeah, the ball lightning concept was one that when I first talked to Bob Greenyer, I kind of thought he was a little out there. And then I'm like, now I'm looking back and going, nah, he's like maybe more grounded than most people that are out there. And I think that the ball lightning concept and the idea of conscious plasma scares me a little bit, where it's like, why does consciousness have to be this completely physical, solid thing that we think of? I don't think it necessarily has to be. Now, in these videos, I think we are looking at a mechanical something in the inside. The reason why I say that is because we have multiple effects happening at once. If it was just the balls moving forward, that would be one thing. But we see these balls defying gravity themselves. We see them pulling themselves forward with the dark line, the geodesic in front. And then we see them also converging to create the singularity. To me, that's too much. There's got to be a mechanical object on the inside, creating the field around them, causing that to happen. But, and the way I look at this is that I think this is us. We figured out, scalar physics. We figured out anti-gravitational technology, and we had been advancing. And this is from 2014, these videos. So I think that we've been advancing 10, 20 years. That's what allowed us to get to the point where we have floaty balls that can do all of them at once. And, and probably in the 80s, we did have like radar dishes that could create scalar beams, which are, as Tom Montauk talked about, waves that are perfectly canceling themselves out, but they're still creating a scalar potential wave that's moving forward.
So in
And
your theory, Ashton, how are they being controlled? Because I know we disagree. I think if the videos are real, I think that's like NHI. But how are they controlled remotely?
yeah, it's either remote controlling or pre-programmed. It seems like it's a homing mechanism. So I was actually talking to Dave Rossi like a week or two ago about that part, and he's saying that they can like basically tap into the resonant frequency of the plane itself. And once they get into that resonant frequency, they just it gets sticky basically at that point, where they're both repelling from one another and attracting to one another. Because the biggest clue when you watch the satellite video is watch when the orbs begin to go around the plane. The very first orb does not lock in right away, and it kind of does a circle on the side of the plane, and then it loops around the plane. The second orb actually gets into orientation as if the triangle formation has already begun. To me, that indicates it was pre-programmed, that they had pre-programmed it to lock in, and then the third orb kind of completes the triangle. So the first two get into the triangle formation, and then the third orb comes in, and they create the full triangle. So to me, there's a lot of clues in here on this. And the only way I can imagine this being possible, because of and I don't have any way to prove this, just my intuition, is that this requires AI and this requires quantum computer, because it's just a lot of computing power to pull this off. But you see that first orb spin around, and then the second orb comes in, and look at it right there, that they're already in a triangle formation. And the third orb comes in and just completes the triangle. To me, nobody's faking that, in my opinion. It's just too specific, and it seems like very intentional. And then the whole mapping of the plane, now I understand why they're mapping the plane. They're trying to figure out how big the singularity has to be in order to warp the plane without like warping just half the plane, and then having like your tailpiece get burnt off or what have you. And to me, that shows this is not experimental technology. This is perfected technology. And that's kind of what's so scary about it. And then they change orientation, and they go into their vertical orientation around the plane. This shows this mixed wave interferometry. I don't know if you guys were watching my stream last night or last week, but Thomas Bearden basically says that if you're creating phase conjugate waves, which are perfectly reflected waves that are canceling each other out, you need a 0-point system. But your 0-point system doesn't have to be like this. It can also be like this in a perfect triangle. And that's what we're seeing here. Because then if you're shooting your beams all at the center point, all the waves are perfectly going to cancel each other out. And then you take your fourth wave and you shoot it at it, and it creates a perfect reflection back at the source. And now your source is 1,000 miles away, wherever it needs to be. And now you're going to have this plane ride the gravity wave to the fourth orb. And that seems to be how this stuff works. I mean, I could never have imagined that in April of 2024, I would be explaining this in a way that I think actually checks out. But there you go. There you have it.
Dude, I got to get my NHI video out on this. I want to see your take on it, Ashton. But this is a pretty.
And it could be non-human intelligence, but the problem is it becomes more and more complex to explain, because they would have to be in cahoots with the United States government, because we're filming this thing before the orbs show up. The drone is right next to it. The drone can't catch it. They zoom in like they know exactly what's going to happen, like they're collecting intelligence on it. And then it's like, how do I explain that we're like, okay, now we're in cahoots with the aliens that are zapping our plane, and there's no aliens flying these little orbs. It's definitely being remote controlled. So either the aliens are remote controlling or we're remote controlling it. That's why I just don't think it requires any of those explanations. And then when Bob Greenyer showed me the coherent matter wave beam patent, which is a transducer, this is a thing that not only creates coherence within matter, which it can create coherent electrons, which seems to be what superconductivity even is. But this also can convert energy from one type to another. This is like basically like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to anti-gravitational technology. That's what the coherent matter wave beam patent is for Lockheed Martin. And that's when I went, and that predates these videos where I'm like, okay, well, this is Lockheed Martin technology. This is us. Crazy as it is, though. But yeah, so I got community noted on this, which I knew. I actually called it out in my Discord yesterday morning, where I was like, they're going to community note me on this. It's too big. And I knew how community notes were abused, because I watched it happen during the Kim.com era when stuff was getting big. The way that it worked, and it happened to him too when he posted the Sibbers thing. They community noted him with a false community note saying that we didn't have that type of resolution capability. And Mick West even went and argued with Kim.com. like this shows how delusional the debunkers are. They don't think we have resolution capability to see an airplane in the sky that's the size of a city block.
Even
we can
after the
read
Trump
books
leak?
on the ground. That's what our real resolution capability.
Remember, we watched something from like 2006. It looked like last time you were here, Ashton, and like it looked really good.
The Bin Laden raid, you can watch dudes like, you know, moving around on the ground. We watched the one where, it was, what was that called?
Argus.
It's like the Argus. Yeah, they can like watch people working out on the street.
It was
This was like
2006.
10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yes.
Like anyone who
Super
doesn't
low.
think that we can just like literally see people's facial features from space has no idea what they're talking about at this point. And so what I found out though was
you've been
that
blowing up again, right? Like because the redacted interview, I feel like really went huge. You did Vetted, that was awesome too. That's why you think there's this new push of like random community notes, random.
Well, what happened was that one started to take off because what's going to happen is like as long as I don't post these videos that often, every time I post them, they're going to get over 1 million views because more and more people are going to see them. They're going to see the evidence. The evidence is overwhelming, and then what happens is people community note them, and the way the community note system is gamed is that when your community note starts to go over 1 million, then it seems like there's this easier way to hit the threshold where it gets triggered. And once your community note gets triggered, there's no way to remove it. It's permanently stuck on there. If your thing has over 1 million views and you get community noted, permanently stuck on there, can't be removed no matter how many people. Kim.com proved this because when they came at him, he posted to his 1.5 million followers about the resolution stuff. And they all voted it not helpful and it never went away. And I noticed that same thing happened to me on some of my posts when I got community noted back then. And you guys can go back to my post. You can find out that I attacked community notes. And the reason why I know this is because whistleblowers that are in the community note system DM'd me and told me about it. I've had multiple whistleblowers.
Oh, you're bringing forward whistleblowers? I love this.
Yes, I have community notes whistleblowers who told me exactly how the system works, how it can be gamed. They showed me the names of the people out there that are doing it. And so they showed me and sent me a link to the person that community noted this one. And I went ahead and we looked at it, and it's a 100% a scammer. It's somebody that's like essentially the equivalent of these guerrilla skeptics that are manipulating Wikipedia. Wouldn't surprise, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it's not even wouldn't surprise me. They are the same people that are manipulating Wikipedia, Reddit moderators. It's all the same, like, you know, mentally ill type people that think that they've got to police the world that are out there. And I looked at the other posts that they post, and you guys can watch my stream yesterday. I showed the people this because I have the link to this person's thing. And it's like some people that follow me, like they're going through their posts and they're going, this is a known engagement farmer who posts fake videos, stuff like that's their community note on people. I'm going, what? Like, I know these are real people. These aren't like bots or anything. And this goes to show like how messed up in the head these people are. And they just tag all day long. This person has like 50 community notes per day. All they do all day long is go around trying to police.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I found them. They posted. They community noted that post and two of my other follow-ups as well. One of them where I prove using the satellite zap, showing that it's 3-dimensional lighting, like no question, 3-dimensional lighting, and their community knows this is easy to do. What?
Wow, that's weak.
And I'm just like, dude, what is wrong with these people?
I think they were trolling you too. I didn't realize they actually put the airliner abduction thing.
Yeah, and their source on it is Reddit.
That has to be control you, bro. Reddit. And that's subreddit.
As if you didn't know it was a Redditor. They're sourcing Reddit. This is worse than sourcing Wikipedia. Random, no-name, anonymous people on the internet are not a source of factual information. Like, are you kidding me?
No, that is nuts, dude. I'm with a girl named Tom, dude.
So I posted about this. You guys are reading it right now. And so later that day, I go look back at the post again, and there's a second community note on it. And I had already reported the person to community notes. Like, literally, there's a report feature you can use. I reported their fake community notes. Other people reported them as well. And I see the second community note. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And then I go do my stream, and I'm ready to just call him out and just go full blast on this genuine Marmalade Falcon person. They should, just to be clear, they should be banned, not just from community notes. They should have their Twitter account banned for manipulating Twitter like this. This should be a permanent ban from the entire platform. This type of behavior should simply not be allowed. If it turns out it's Mick West and his account goes away, it would tell us a lot. And there's no doubt in my mind these people are connected to people like Mick West. I don't know that for a fact that this person is, but this is the same exact type of mentality that a guy like Mick West has, that he has to police the world and protect them from the dangerous thoughts and stuff like that. But so I go on my stream and I'm getting ready to show them the community notes that I had just seen. They're all gone. They're all gone. And I look back at it again. I'm thinking like maybe it's because of my login or something. Nope, community notes are gone. And I realized that had to be manually removed. They had to have manually removed those community notes because there's no way, I know for a fact that you can't just vote them away. So somebody actually intervened. I don't know if it was Elon Musk or somebody on the community notes or what happened, but somebody manually intervened and removed those fake community notes. And the best part, if you guys go to Grant Lavac's profile.
Oh, I saw that. And I like Grant. I hate seeing you guys beef.
Wait,
no, Grant's a terrible person.
So
Did he relish in your community?
He not only relished it, he went out of his way to make edit a video about me, saying how one of my comments on a video stream from like a month ago, how it aged like milk. And then he retweets your guys, the Skyfire News thing about how I had gotten community noted. And then I reply to him and say, well, turns out your post got aged like milk. And he got ratioed all up and down.
This is one of the craziest ratios I've seen. I love
Grant. And of course, they attacked me. Damn! Or for anything like that. Video letter to Joe Rogan. If he's out there or his people watch this, I hope that they do. Because I want them to know a few things. First thing I want people to know is that I have not been doing this for attention or for fame or for money or for anything like that. I don't give a crap about any of that stuff at all.
I have not been doing this for attention or for fame or for money or for money.
He went all in.
Could this guy have really just punched himself in the face any harder than this? Grant, advice to you, buddy. Wait like one more day before you make a video like this next.
And then it was like
so excited.
Oh, actually,
so excited.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours later that this happens. Right? Like,
yeah.
The community notes are gone.
The community note gets removed like an hour after he spends. How long do you think he spent making that too? Like, how messed up do you have to be to just obsess over somebody else that you have no reason to obsess over? I've forgotten about Grant. And then the only reason why I even found out is somebody tagged me into it. This is how unstable these people are that are out there.
Right. Like
Grant, who I don't even know how this guy's even a UFO, like what his connection. As far as I know, he's never accomplished anything in the UFO community at all. You read his bio and it says he's a student of FOIA. And UFO,
He's Australian FOIA. He's a good guy. I know you guys have.
I like Grant. Yeah, I like Grant. Super.
Like
but when people have like tried to like basically like bet on your downfall.
No, they're just committed to it.
Yes.
Right. And then they're trying to get me for the money thing because I make a comment about how, because this matters from a civil perspective. Like if people are defrauding you here, and my account's monetized. When you put a community note on somebody, it takes away the monetization as well. As far as I know, it might still take away the monetization. I actually don't know. It doesn't really matter that much to me. But from a civil perspective, if this costs somebody hundreds of dollars, you're defrauding them out of money. Now, if you watched my stream last night, I mentioned my plan to take this extra money that I would get from this post is to buy some more Cosmic Summit passes, virtual ones for people. They're about $50 each. And give them away on my stream to people so that they can watch the Cosmic Summit in June. I think it's going to be awesome. I want to have as much people watch it as possible. So I do plan on giving it back. I obviously don't care about money. I have a real job. The amount of money I've made from social media is vaguely negligible. I'm allowed to make money off of social media and monetize it. I have 90,000 followers almost. So it's kind of weird because I think as far as I know, Grant's whole job is grifting people on UFOs. So it's a little weird for him to attack me and hypocritical on that front, but
we're going to mend this relationship on Skyfire News one day. I think it'll happen, but let's check out this ratio. So Grant,
let's watch the ratio.
A little zealous, right? He quick to retweet the Ashton getting community noted. Got his fire meme. Well, this didn't age well. UFO X MH370. 34 likes.
How many comments?
I don't. 31 comments. He posts this, and then 2 hours later, the community notes gets undone. And then here's Ashton.
Oof. 240 likes.
What
Oh,
did
look at that. How are you liking retirement, bud? 0 likes. Oof, my God. This guy.
Oh,
This guy
0
needs to
likes on
stop
that?
hitting himself.
Damn.
You know what this reminds me of? When we had our space
Like,
with him in it, and I
just
told
feel
those
bad,
guys
Ashton.
that every time they come after me, it's going to backfire and they should stop. He did not take that advice. Stop coming after me. It will backfire on you every single time. The reason because I'm an honest dude. Oh, you gave him the like. He needs that one.
He needs that
Bad.
one.
I like
You know,
both of you guys. I'm gonna be fully
Yeah.
transparent. I like both- I just felt bad. The 240 next to the 1. I mean, with 0 likes. I got your back, Grant, and I got your back, Ashton. I like both.
Betting on people's downfall
Like
is
all of
never
them.
a safe
There you go.
play.
Boom.
It's like
Nah.
it's
like
like a
when you go to a
dunk.
craps table and you bet on don't pass, man.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
You just don't want to be that one guy who's betting against everybody. But you know, this goes to show too that these people, a lot of people out there are pot committed against me, as we say in poker, which means that they can't back away from it now anymore. Like they've gone all in on, they have to be right about me being a fraud or fake or the videos being fake. They were never impartial to begin with. This shows their bad faith on their part. And now they're committed to it. And the part is, this is why I said on my stream yesterday, good. I want them to be. You know, the moment these people come after me, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to polarize people to the point where you have skin in the game now. So now if those videos end up being real, it's going to ruin your credibility, your reputation forever. So you should think twice before you start coming at me like with stuff like this, because I'm setting you up for that, and I'm happy to be that. I've put myself out there. I put my credibility, my reputation on the line, and I'm going to do the same to you as well. So this goes out to any other debunkers.
It's like stuff like this. Like you're just chilling, getting community noted, and Grant's like, "Yo, let's dunk. It's dunking time."
And this was
Didn't
exactly
work
what
out
happened
this
with
time.
like the cloud picture and every debunk out there. The moment a debunk comes out there, every douchebag comes out of the woodwork to retweet it and try to dunk on me. You know, every single douchebag there is. And you know what? You're going to get it right back. Karma's coming back for you, boys. And the good news is that I'm not as much of a dickhead as you guys are, so I'm probably not going to come at you that hard, but I'm not a great guy either, so expect a little bit of coming back.
Yeah.
And any other future debunkers and what have you, like this guy that's trying to say he's going to get me out on all my bot accounts. He's going to prove that I got a bunch of bot accounts. Guy, I'm warning you right now. It's already going to backfire on you because I don't have any bot accounts that are out there. And the guy, and I think he also said that today I saw in my live stream that he was going to report me to the government for my top secret clearance or whatever.
Ooh,
dude, you're going to get yourself
Grant?
arrested, bro. No, different guy.
Okay.
But dude, you're gonna get yourself arrested, man. I would not do that. I mean, it's up to you. It's a free country, but don't. Anyway.
Damn.
I've seen you bob and weave so many different slanderous attacks that and come out successful that it's just fun to watch now, right? Because you know, it's like there's people in life that you just don't bet against when you realize like what's kind of going on. And with this like with the MH370 videos and your tenacity, I mean, really you're always on like the underdog status because you're trying to convince something of something that their mind can't register as being real. And they in this community too, and in the internet world, like we just dunked on Grant's fail, right? No one really wants to take the risk and fail. You're taking a risk, but a lot of people with MH370, they just don't even want to do it. So as soon as they see a small debunk or whatever, they want to just go, okay, that's garbage. I'm the smartest guy in the room. And that's what I see a lot of times is they use your work and your research to become the smartest guy in the room. And it's like, dude, I don't think you guys understand how much he looked into this. And
that's
also,
the problem with social media in general too. But you just nailed it, which is that a lot of people are too afraid to fail. They're too afraid to put themselves out there. And if everybody does that, what does that lead us to? What kind of civilization are we in then? We're a civilization that we can't progress because everybody's too afraid to fail, and they all want to meet the status quo. And that's the whole problem that we have in this civilization right now. And that's why I've been doing what I've been doing, not just because of that, but somebody's got to stand up and take a stand and say, you know what, I'm going to be not afraid to fail. I'm going to put it all on the line and find a cause that's worthwhile and go all in on it.
hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, actually, wait. Before we close up here, so you still don't know exactly how you got uncommunity noted. It's still a mystery.
Oh, I'm like 100% sure, 99.9% sure it had to be manual. Because also, I'll tell you guys this. Let me pull up my Gmail real quick.
I have a theory for who it might be.
I reported it, and the report I got was that we did not find any violation in the X rules on the content you reported. So actually,
Oh wow.
I actually got a response back that says, let me just make sure there wasn't any follow-up. Because on one of them, I posted 2.
Really?
I reported 3 notes that were all against me by the same person. All 3 of the responses say there was no violation. And then all of a sudden, the community note was gone. So you do the math. To me, that means it had to have been a manual intervention. Because normally, if somebody gets banned, like happened with the milk farts guy, every time he got banned, I got a message in my like Twitter that said, account that you had reported in the past, and this was like weeks after, would say account you reported in the past got removed or whatever. So Elon, if you're out there, I owe you one.
I got a theory. Hold on.
It's time for the conspiracy of the day.
Heck yeah, Tupa. We haven't done that one in a while.
Not a long time. What if it was Corbell? He's like, what if he changed his mind?
I was thinking the same thing. Because, I mean, I feel like he intervened with the uplifting tweets thing, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that's outside the box. That's outside. That's, you know what I mean? We hope people come around to this idea, but who knows?
What if JC becomes a MH370 believer all of a sudden out of nowhere?
Have patience on me. Don't give up on me. I'm on cosmic time.
That was a perfect clip. Perfect cutaway on that. Wow. I wanted to be on JC's side, man. I went to bat for this guy. I've fought Mick West as Mick West has debunked JC's stuff. I reached out to him first before anyone else. And I remember first thing I told him was, if you get me on Joe Rogan, I'll give you disclosure and I'll prove all these people trying to debunk you are disinfo or whatever they are. I mean, what more do you want, JC? I'm on your side, man.
Yeah, it's weird you don't see people working together. And this kind of is a great tie-in to the last topic of the day, which is not really drama. I mean, this is the constant debate, right? And it's like, low-key my trigger word, but I don't really care. It's like, where is it drama and where is it like a counterintelligence op? Like, is ex-military dudes saying to civilian UFO researchers, like, I'm inside of your router data? Is that drama? Or is that a little bit of an op going on? You know what I mean?
It's really sketch. That's pretty sketch.
Pretty damn suspicious. Let's just be honest with that. But
what did you think,
guys?
First,
this is where I would challenge you guys. Is I think it's way less military ops than you guys think. I think that human nature can account for a lot of the drama bullshit, and it just turns out that there's so many tribal cliques between politics lines, between lines of people who want it to be aliens or not, people who believe it can't be aliens, people like Stephen Greenstreet, who got probably sexually assaulted by an alien, and now he's dedicated to proving aliens can't be real to get rid of the trauma or whatever it is. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure it's true. People like that, like there's all this stuff is what makes it impossible. Like when we're divided and we're fighting each other, nobody's looking into the science. And one thing I've noticed about this community is that nobody's looking into the science. Alien scientist is one of the only people, in my opinion, Jeremy Reese, looking into the science, but then he goes super hardcore aggro adversarial on everybody else, which is somewhat warranted, honestly. But when you do that, it makes it really hard for people to listen to you.
Have you ever tried linking up with SCU?
Who's SCU?
You should look into them. They're like the Scientific Coalition on UFOs, JP. They did like a really detailed scientific paper on the Aguadilla videos. You should see if anyone from there wants to look at it. I feel like that's right up your alley of like, you know what I mean? Trying to be like scientific.
So yeah, for me, to that point though, just to finish the thought, is that I don't think a lot of the people, I think a very, very, very small percentage of the people are disinfo that are out there. I think, and this is what you learn when you play poker as well, is that very, very rarely do people bluff. Yes, they do bluff, but rarely do they. Most of the time people are just telling the truth. They're signaling their true intentions at you. And I think that really where you get the disinfo are the people that are active government employees, the people that are contractors like the Eric Davis, where he's going to be willing to lie, or the Sean Kirkpatrick, where he's going to be willing to lie. He's got a monetary interest in lying and keeping the information secret. The community, they're just, most people in general, it's like we saw with Tucker Carlson, it's more of a matter of how do you vet your information and who you're getting your information from and what are their biases that are out there. And that's why I think that everybody, and I can tell Tucker Carlson's doing the same thing that I do, which is why I think we would have a good conversation, is I'm putting everything I hear through a filter. And I'm kind of checking that against my own information to figure out, okay, is this going to be legit? Is it relevant? Is it credible, etc.?
Everyone should be doing that. Yeah, vetting, right? Skinny Bob, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
vetting. Everyone should be self-vetting all the time, right? So, and vetted, great transition, Skinny Bob. So this one out.
Good guy, Patrick, yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome,
and he asked John about this thing because John is one of the people named by Sean Cahill who, mind you, this guy was part of Skyfort. He's with Lou Elizondo. He's always on Fox News, the History Channel. He's always speaking at the events with Lou and stuff like that. This is Lou's right-hand man.
Yeah,
This
quick
is
thing.
basically Lou
Anybody
Elizondo.
you see on TV on these news channels, you should not trust them. I asked Chris Mellon too that Chris Mellon had a signal text between him and Sean Kirkpatrick leak. He claims via FOIA. Private text messages are not FOIAable, so they couldn't possibly have got leaked via FOIA. And I don't know why he'd be lying about that. Very
No, I
suspicious.
think Kirkpatrick wanted them out, and he screenshot
Yeah, I
it.
think exactly. Kirkpatrick.
coupled that-
But why would Chris Mellon lie about that? And then people like John Greenwald. At this point, I'm 100% sure John Greenwald's a useful idiot. He's being fed.
Oh, you're on the
information
Matt
from
Ford
the
train. I disavow.
I'm certain
ways
because the
again.
thing is, I've done enough FOIAs where they will not give you anything they want for any millions of excuses they want. He's being given specific information to leak out there to the public. 99% sure that's what John Greenwald's.
We're getting some mic interference.
I was gonna say, is that me, right? I'm gonna leave.
Talk real quick, Ashton.
Oh yeah, but Patrick,
perfect.
Patrick's a good guy though, and I respect that Patrick's willing to talk to anybody out there because he's just a normal dude, which I think is important. If you are doing like a news UFO thing, you got to be impartial to the point where you can talk to everybody. For me, I don't have to be impartial. I'm blazing my own trail out there, MH370 video style, putting everybody on notice. Catastrophic disclosure. It's all about technology for me. Oh yeah, there we go.
Real quick while Red pops back in, shout out to Jeremy Reese, alien scientist. I hooked him up with this video after he posted this in response to the UFO obfuscations.
Well, I know things are getting tougher when you can't tell a fraud from a real whistleblower. Wide open the road to disclosure now. It's looking pretty narrow. All I know is that I don't know. All I know is that I don't know nothing. All I know is that I don't know. All I know is that I don't know nothing. Last night I watched Chris Lato smash his Fender Strap.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I added the
Just
drums.
Leto's back though, which is nice.
He is,
I was
yeah.
a bit worried for a while.
And he's doing well, and he addressed everything that happened. I think that conversation is super important in this community.
I think
As
Tom
is this
DeLong
one.
owes him a signed guitar. What do you guys think in the chat? I think he should send him one.
Yeah,
to,
for
to
sure.
replace his.
I agree.
He had a moment.
So yeah,
I'm
let's listen to
got the
Greenwald. Greenwald responding to Sean Cahill saying you should mask your router locations. He also says it to Green Street, Susan Go, Jeremy McGowan, Greenwald.
Real quick, do you think he's bluffing here, or do you think he really is able to hack their like?
No, I think they're doing this and actually worse if he's this comfortable saying this publicly. Yeah, I think they're doing way worse than this. But let's listen.
He tweets out, no offense to folks with Green, Street, Go, Gal, Wall, or Duh sounds in their name, but you should learn to mask your router locations. Y'all kind of stanky at this for payroll. And I just thought, wait, what is happening? How can someone who's considered a leader in the UFO community tweet out stuff like this? Like, what was your, because in my opinion, he's talking about you. You're one of the people
like
he's talking about, saying that he's, your router location. First of all, it's just creepy that someone is monitoring router locations and even looking into that stuff. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I nothing against Sean Cahill. I don't know him. I've never met him. I've never spoke to him. I know I've made one video that included him, but that just seems creepy to me, to send out something like that and let people know you're doing that. I mean, that says more about him than what he's trying to get across in this message. But yeah, I'm curious how you took that, and if you do agree that he's talking about you.
I do. Yeah. You look at the wall and Duh. That's a play on my name. My last name is Greenwald. So that's how you say Wall.
Greenwald's smart.
On top of that, he's talking about Stephen Greenstreet. That's obvious by the first two. He's talking about Jeremy McGowan, who was a close associate and friend at one time of Sean Cahill and Luis Elizondo, who has, I'm not going to speak for him, but obviously have done a 180 here. Used to be friends and very close with them to, not so much, and has written some pretty scathing articles that, if for those who are interested, you should read them, because Jeremy's story is not alone, and I found that out over the years. And then the Go, and that's obviously, most people call her Susan Go. I had to increase my screen size here, so I'm sorry, my eye line's bad, but most people call her Susan Go. That's not even the correct pronunciation, but that's who she's referring, or that's who he's referring to. It's actually Susan Goff. So obviously he was talking about that. Then he makes the comment about the router location. Now, look, I'm not going to get into the technical mumbo jumbo here, but if you know anything about networking, routing, and what your 192 address is, means absolutely nothing. But it's the core of what he's trying to say about sniffing out people's routers and their location. And this is a trend by former counterintelligence agents and even former military people of intimidating those that are looking for answers. And my initial thought on this is I shook my head thinking, this is getting ridiculous. This is getting out of hand, because the things that I'm doing, I'm looking into what our taxpayer money went to, and I'm looking at what taxpayer paid individuals did. There is nothing wrong with that, not from a journalistic standpoint, not even from a moral standpoint. And if they are so upset over what I'm finding, then it's not me they should be mad at. And they should be asking questions amongst themselves. And if they have answers to some of the questions that I've brought up, or some of the information I've come out with, then just answer it and address it and be done with it. And I've given the opportunity so many times to people that is largely and usually met unanswered. And
so is that drama around, so I guys, so just to be clear here, I'm on nobody's side, and I don't know all the lore and the history of the UFO community. He's implying that Jeremy McGowan used to be friends with Lou Elizondo and is not. You're muted, Red Panda.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah, Jeremy McGowan absolutely was. You should read his articles if you ever get a chance.
Where does he write his articles?
On Medium. Basically, the TLDR, it's much like Lou Reviews. There's all these people who get close to Lou Elizondo.
Yeah.
And then basically
They
just
get
get
slighted.
psyoped and then get harassed by the UFO hate group. And now they hate the subject. It's happened so many times. It's crazy.
Okay. It's starting to make more sense. So these people are all bitter ex-girlfriends.
It's
pretty
literally
much.
like that movie. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. It's all of Lou Elizondo's evil ex fucking friends that he's
Captain Dildo there.
I disavow.
First of all, Captain Dildo, nobody's afraid of or threatened by what he's uncovering. That's not the issue here. The issue here is that, and Sean Cahill, and I'm not on Sean Cahill's side either, is that he's showing that there's a bias, that he's implying that John Greenwald's being fed information to leak out there. With respect to Greenstreet's he's just a moron. It's really what it comes down to. If you read any of Greenstreet's reporting, you can tell it's just completely seething with bias. The guy has some kind of trauma that he can't get past. And this is the issue with people like Lou Reviews as well, is that a lot of these guys, they got slighted, and now it's just personal for them. And this is never going to get you to the truth, unfortunately. And I agree with Sean Cahill, though, in terms of the Greenwald thing, in terms of if he is actually being fed information, then how can we trust the information that he's being fed? He can be being fed disinformation or information the government wants to leak along a slow timeline out there. I don't think any of these people have good intentions, probably no one on either side. The router thing, too, of course, if you are locally on your router, yes, you get the 192 thing, but that's not how it works from the external. You have an external IP address. So the point of Sean Cahill's comment is that if he was logged in doing some work while he's inside the Pentagon or something like that, he's going to have an IP address that's going to be able to pinpoint his location there, not his home location. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but that seems to be what he's implying.
I read that totally different. That's a lot of having to put onto his statements. I think he was very clearly trying to like, at the very least, like be like, I'm looking into you, which we've heard, right? We've heard
I
that
mean,
they do
that's
this.
kind of what he's saying, though, right? It's still the same point.
He's also implying that they're on the payroll of somebody too, like that we've looked into you, and we know that you are all operating from some room in the CIA. You know what I mean? Headquarters.
That's what I'm trying to say.
What a hell of a thing to throw at somebody. You know, who we know the people who kind of worship Cahill are willing to go slander and research and do all kinds of weird stuff, even in some cases confront the people that they don't like. It's very interesting.
Yeah, they all hate each other. You can tell that much, right? There's lots of resentment between these various groups that are out there. And this is why I'm not really affiliated with any of them. Like, I just think that they're
Greenwald's a good guy.
All kind of losers
around,
honestly.
Yes.
But yeah, he said it's becoming more common, right? That these counter intel dudes have been like doing it. And that's what I love about Greenwald is he's been at this since the 90s, so he's seen this community like change and whatnot. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. This recent thing is a perfect example. I honestly didn't feel like there was much bias in what he published, and I feel like the community as a whole is better for being able to access it and dissect it. I'm talking about the Chris Mellon
what did he publish?
Message exchange, the Grush emails. Like, it really, we covered it yesterday, the day before, Tupa. I'm glad that stuff got out there, and just the way he was attacked, and I saw Ashton was going in on it with the dildo thing, but like the Good Trouble show.
Oh yeah, he's never gonna live that down, by the way.
Nah,
I'm gonna go on me twice as hard next time.
Oh shoot. But yeah, that's my point. He basically just published documents, and I feel like everyone raging at him, especially over yesterday's drop in particular. It's like you're really just raging at yourself and raging at Grush. Like, you should be raging at, like, John is literally like, don't shoot the messenger in this situation, in my opinion. And sure, maybe you could be like, why is it timed? Why is it this? But it's still a data point for like all of us to dissect. Yeah, maybe Kirkpatrick did time it with the Arrow briefing and the Kona Blue drop. You know what I mean? For a reason, who knows? But I think we're better for having it than like if we didn't get that drop, right?
I love getting information, but private text messages are not FOIA-able. So if somebody's claiming they got them via FOIA, I'm obviously going to think that they might be lying. I mean, in fact, I think it deserves an explanation for how you FOIA'd it. Show us the FOIA that gave us private signal text messages out there. To me, it seems like they're being leaked. And if that's true, if he's the one that got them and put those text messages, and it must have come from Kirkpatrick, to me, that shows absolute coordination between Sean Kirkpatrick, who we know is a liar and debunker type person, and Greenwald, which to me taints him 100%. And I already speculated that he and Susan Go have some type of relationship, which is unethical. Not saying that they're sleeping together, but an unethical relationship where they're feeding information from the government through the approved FOIA guy. This is the same reason why you put idiots like Captain Dildo on TV, because you're not afraid of them saying something that's going to threaten you. You put Greenwald on TV, and he's going to say exactly what you want him to say. He's going to leak the information you want him to leak. He's going to say the information you want him to leak. The reason why no media will talk to me is because they know we're going to have a conversation like this where I just expose people. And that's not what they want on broadcast network television. That wakes people up.
It really does. It really does. Long form conversation just hits different.
Okay, Tuba, we got like one more thing real quick on this beat. I totally disagree with you, Ashton, about Greenwald, but that's okay. That's what life's about.
Okay, I still love you. I know you guys got to keep your journalistic integrity.
No, I like
enough
Greenwald.
heat as it is.
I like Greenwald, and I think the reason why Greenwald catches so much flack, I think he's right. I think Greenwald's partially right that it's the people that are able to have a sense of fame and mystique because there's certain things that are not known. And there are figureheads who want to be considered certain, in certain ways, and you FOIA that, and like Greenwald's a good voice, a big voice, and he was critical and suspicious of some of this stuff, and he got attacked for it, and that's for sure. Now, that's how I feel, and he's always been cool. But I mean, the thing about this is everyone can have their own opinion. Everyone can have their own opinion.
I've had my own personal interactions with him multiple times, and he's come at me dishonestly both times.
He actually has, and I will say that I was disappointed.
On both times and blocked me both times after getting dunked on, and honestly, that's just up to him, man. And when those videos get proven real, like everybody who's come at me like that, I actually have a little list I call the losers channel. And every time I have someone like Grat Levanc or whatever, I screenshot their stuff. I post a clip. I take a link to it, but I do the screenshot just in case they delete it. And if those videos ever get proven real one day, I'm probably gonna have like a week-long thing where I just post losers nonstop of all these people like
I think that's cool.
Stephen Greenwald and Grant LeVanc and all these people who are wrong and double down and triple down, blah blah blah. It'll be pretty funny, honestly.
No, it'll be funny. We have one for Skyfire too. Everyone who shits on Skyfire News, we get so many people up to shit on it. And we also have a channel called maybe I don't want to say it. Never mind. But
there's not a lot of people, hoping that we succeed or hoping that each other succeeds. A lot of people use Twitter or social media as a way to kind of like expect.
They love to hate us, bro.
And that's cool. That's cool. But I mean, this is ufology.
No, it's good, man. Take that. And by the way, everybody who's following or watching right now, there's a couple thousand people on Twitter watching. Make sure you guys are following Skyfire News, watching these guys' updates. Lots of people use our updates in the UFO community to report the news on it because they do a great job taking the content, translating it into bite-sized information that's useful to keep people up to date on what's going on in this community. So make sure you're following Skyfire. Make sure you're following Tupacabra and Red Panda here with me.
Hell yeah. Thank you, bro. Yeah, we love that, like, the ecosystem vibe of it, like seeing everybody like play our clips and stuff. Like, we love that. It's sick. But yeah, here's Michael Huntington, a veteran researcher. He's talking about the harassment and stuff he's faced. And mind you, this is the one, Tupa. Remember last Saturday we covered, there was like almost a fight at the Ozark Festival. You remember that, right, Tupa?
Yep.
There's a clip of that because I heard about it, but I didn't see.
There's no clip of that. So this clip is him just talking about harassment. I have another clip where he describes the fight, but I didn't see any footage of it. But let's just listen to this first.
I've been doxxed and harassed and threatened and all that online. A lot of people have, because they have spoken out against Lou or Cahill or Knapp or Corbell or the people within this UAP narrative. That itself is sort of a rebrand, a control mechanism, to move it away from UAP to redefine it into a controlled way that is applied with these observables that they decide, But, I'm a ufologist. I've been researching UFOs, and people see objects, not these military things. But I go off on a tangent. Back to the issue here. The climate is.
Oh yeah, it's a great call. The Dr. Flay shouts out the live chat. You guys have been killing it all. Not many likes on the vid. Everyone go like the stream, like it everywhere, like it on Ashton's, like it on Twitter, like it on YouTube. And he's about to say something else pretty interesting. But
who is this?
This is Michael Huntington. He's been around for like 40 years researching. And then that's Lou Reviews. Have you heard of him on the left here?
Lou Reviews? No, I never heard of that guy.
He's got a really sick keto bread review. It's awesome.
He's got some good templates.
It's sort of sad, and there is a personality cult around a lot of these disclosure principles, and they may take a back seat and claim that they're above it and distant from it, but they're in constant communication with these underlings.
Yeah. They're fueling it,
and they're fueling it, and they are, and we know that they have lists.
Yeah,
we know that they have targeted people. We know that the people that speak out get targeted. All forms of harassment, beyond just memes or whatever. And it's sort of scary. And
yeah, so I know, Ashton, you got a steel chin, but dude, this community, and no, I'm not saying this about anyone in particular, it's full of a bunch of like nerdy people, right? And like
degenerates. This
post 2017 weird harassment cult, like there was always some weird little cults within ufology, but it really feels like at this point in time, like there's a really big one, and like uplifting tweets in Corbell, King Milkfart and Lou Elizondo, Gary Nolan and Lou Elizondo, Sean Cahill and Lou Elizondo, like all these disclosure figures are literally intermingling with like the worst harassers, and I think more and more people are calling it out. Like Greenwald just called it out again. Michael Huntington. I mean, we're literally to the point where people are like getting in fights at conferences. You know what I mean? Like, who would have ever thought these are? Have you seen videos of conferences? They look so like nerdy and boring. And
actually, part of the reason why I don't want to go to the Contact in the Desert, because like I feel like people will literally just come at me. A lot of this UFO community hates me with like a passion.
Bro,
but one thing I want to say on this though is that like I find it weird. Like this guy I don't even know complains about being doxxed or harassed or whatever. A lot of the time when these people are complaining about being harassed, it's like they got a mean comment or something. Like I don't know if I'm at the top of the list, but I got to be pretty damn close to the top of the list of being harassed by people in terms of having people post pictures of my family, dox me, have coordinated harassment campaigns that have been recorded. Like, and I don't ever really complain about it. Like I talk about it when I do streams, but I never post about it or anything like that. And like to some degree, I feel like people are trying to play the victim a little bit. And that's when I think of that Ozarks thing. I'm like, is there a recording? Because this guy's claiming that he got attacked and what have you. A lot of times I look into this and I go, dude, you got nothing compared to what like I'm getting regarding this stuff here. And everybody wants to play the victim and what have you. It's like, to some degree, it is just the internet. It gets scary when it's like people are, you know, getting to the point where they're doing videos with getting on airplanes and taking videos of them shooting stuff, which I think I saw happening to UAP Mike and that kind of thing. But to some other degree, it's like you got to just get over it, move on and past it, report them, block them, whatever you got to do. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, well, here's his recording of the fight. Him recounting what happened.
Posse fan, you know, sort of that, you know, big and tough, and I guess he when I say I'm Michael Huntington, he turns and he like puts his cigarettes and his keys and his wallet down or something. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? And he's like, you know who I am? I'm like, no. What's up?
No.
So, you know, he looked kind of perturbed at something. And he's like, well, I'm Rob Heatherly's son. You know,
wow.
Pops up,
you
know, and moves in, and he's like, you want to say some shit? And he's getting louder, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs.
This is in sort of the main hub of this conference. He's screaming at you in the top of his lungs.
It's within feet of the front door, and
wow.
It's lunchtime, so it's
busy.
We're definitely missing part of this.
Wow.
Yeah,
it just. What are we missing? What's your analysis, Ashton?
Yeah, people don't just get up and just start getting in people's faces for no reason. Like. This guy said something to the other guy. I'm sure it escalated a little bit. He's not saying whatever he said or in response. People don't just over all of a sudden put down their wallet and go, do you know who I am? I'm going to get in your face and start yelling at you. Nah, it's not how it really plays out in the real one. This is what I was
Rob Heatherly replaced Lou Elizondo as a speaker because Lou Elizondo and Sean Cahill backed out at the last minute. And then he did his presentation on like the Wikipedia stuff he's been like really on the beat of, I guess you could say. And then Huntington said... basically, they had replaced Lou and that the Wikipedia conspiracies were loony. And then I guess the next day, Huntington's son came up here and like tried to like get in his face. And apparently his son's like 20-something, Huntington said. Yeah, let's listen to some more.
Rob Heatherly's son.
What do you think, Tupa? How you feeling, bro? The chat thinks you're super stoned right now.
No. I'm just channeling Cambion.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw you smoking a blunt like
an
hour ago. Anyway, it was.
Did he?
Okay, ready.
Put his hands on you at all?
Well, he does that pushing thing, and he chest bumps me, and he tries to crowd me in, and I'm like, look, let's come over here and talk. What's the problem? What do you think? What's going on? You were saying shit about my dad. I'm like, what was I supposed to have said? And then he really got pissed, like,
of course.
And I'm like, dude, let's go find your dad and find out. Why
I feel like he's a little kid.
Right.
Like a lost toddler.
And,
let's go find your dad, dude.
That's what I'm saying. These are like old ass nerdy dudes in the best way, right? Like, why are you yelling at me at a? Like, I'm telling you, if you guys haven't been to a conference, it's literally like a bingo night. You know what I mean?
I feel like I would go to the contact in the desert, and I would just be having a martini, and I'd have like. It would be like that Rick and Morty episode where Rick is just having random people come up and try to fight him all the time. I'd be like, dude, honestly, which one are you? What's your username? I don't remember. Like, I just don't know any of these people.
Well, I mean, we have a chain of events that led up to the confrontation, and we know the Rob Heatherly, like the stuff that he said about having these guys as back. And I really do think that the way Huntington described it, it's not too dramatic, but it sounds like, it sounds kind of corny, really. But I think that's exactly what happened. Without video evidence, it's like whatever, or without another side of the story, which we should probably, we should expect. we should expect that he's going to come out with his side of the story. But I'm not surprised by this result at all, especially when you follow the tweets and the statements made about, you know, Huntington not being for disclosure, having
From
any
Sean
positive.
Cahill, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to. Has there been Rob Heatherly's son? Has he responded at all to this claim or anything?
No, we're gonna try and get him on and Rob Heatherly on to talk about this.
Good.
Hopefully, they
I want to
come
hear
on.
the other side of the story. I have a feeling there's a little bit more. I mean, he may be the aggressor. I'm not denying that, but I feel like there's probably was a little bit of raised voice from this guy and egging him on, I would imagine, in order to get to that point. But we'll see.
I mean, I definitely want to hear it. I definitely want to hear both sides, but I think broad topic. Let's keep UFO nerdy ass UFO conferences relatively safe and like confrontation free. Knock on wood.
You guys got to tell me what the drama's like at Contact in the Desert. I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Wow.
Call me a pussy and all this, and it's great when you go to a UFO conference and you have somebody just.
It was your son, was your son or your wife or any family around while this is going on?
Let me move the cat.
Cat walks in front of the screen.
Sometimes they're there, especially like if there's a break.
No,
And,
I'm saying like your family specifically. Were they
Yeah, I'm
there
talking
when
about
he? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about my family too.
Yeah.
My father-in-law went on this trip, my wife, and my 3 boys, including our infant.
Brought his whole
And
family with?
they come into the conference. They weren't there at that time. They actually went to a zoo because Eureka Springs is kind of like a resort town.
Dude, imagine if we had Shane there with footage because he lives in Arkansas. We should have sent him there, even just separate of this fight. It would have been wild.
To be honest, this is my first hearing about the Ozark UFO conference. I had no idea it was a thing. No idea at all. So it's a good introduction to it.
I'm sure that the people, the clientele at the Ozark UFO community conference was a lot of good people watching, I imagine. Let's leave it at that.
Let me just show you what I mean. Let me see. Yeah, look at this. This is like
from across the globe made their way to Eureka Springs this weekend for the 36th annual
I'm
Ozark
afraid.
Conference. The conference attracts thousands of people to Eureka Springs every year for panel discussions and world-renowned researchers. 5 News photojournalist Joel Katner has a look at what keeps people coming back.
Local news went. Okay, I'm excited.
One of the longest running UFO conferences.
Dude, I mean, like
in
this is the
world.
vibe here, and it's like,
Is that Nick Pope?
Yeah,
Nick Pope was there.
Conferences in the world. I very
This
much
is just like a Fleet Mart.
coming here to.
That's what I'm saying.
Arkansas and
Imagine seeing like Rob Heatherly and UFO Shane, and you know what I mean. Like, this is not the kind of vibe where you expect that kind of behavior.
immersing myself in this event. It really is a very friendly conference.
Hello. You should
and
cut-
lots of
juxtapose that with
fascinating
the
things
stories
going on.
It's 19 or 20 years I've been doing this show. People always got to take something back to work because they're the crazy
Slimer?
UFO people going to the show.
It's back to
Is that what it said his name was?
No, that's the stuffed animal.
That's
Okay, I
Ghostbusters.
was like, what the heck?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it should be chill. The same
It
thing
should be
with
fun. It
yeah.
should be chill and fun and nerdy, and it's probably a little stinky, but still fun. But like,
I'm starting to realize why people are so offended by the MH370 videos. I don't know how to explain it in words, but when I look at what's going on here with like, it's just a bunch of people trying to sell UFO paraphernalia.
Yeah.
And tell their experiences to other people, which is like, you know, it's great. You know, you've got a support group of people or what have you, but it feels like these are the type of people, they don't really want disclosure. It's more about the chasing the pink, dragon or whatever than it is about actually catching it, in my opinion.
yeah. So I mean, that's
Well
basically it. We're gonna watch it. Hopefully, it doesn't escalate. But I mean, I don't remember since
That's
2017
nightmare
hearing
fuel
about
right
like
there.
a fight or something at one of these nerdy ass things. So
Well, there was another one that happened in New York. Remember this one?
Oh shoot!
They on Twitter making stupid comments
Oh, yes.
about people that literally mean nothing, meaningless comments.
What-
It's a troll.
Like what?
You just
Like what? Oh,
So wait, is this Milk Farts with talking to Project Unity there?
Yeah, who I think we're gonna have on tomorrow. Who I think is another person who's our friend who you don't get along with.
No,
right?
I can't stand him.
Oh, I love him. I love him. I think the guy's
I
great.
think the dude's a straight A grifter engagement farmer. I'm gonna actually go and go to community note all his posts with that he's a known engagement farmer.
Give him a
No,
chance.
you and Vetted, dude. Remember our space? We had that space, and like we had just gotten to know Vetted, and then Ashton comes in, and we're all like having a good time, and then you guys start beefing, and we're like, oh shoot.
Yeah, like you had a history. Like
I didn't realize y'all had a history going back.
I
months.
honestly feel bad about Vetted because Vetted's just Pat's just a legit normal guy, and I actually do feel regret for that. Jay, on the other hand, no, I feel like he wants to be the next Richard Dolan. Like, I feel like this is his life calling, and the problem I have with Jay is that like he's always trying to pretend like he's this holier than thou guy, and he's just as much of a nerd and troll as everybody else. But he has this fake sense of aura where he's more enlightened than everyone else. And I wouldn't go in on him, but he just out of nowhere, just like not just decides that he thinks that MH370 videos are fake, but that he feels he's going to take this moral superiority to take down our interview. We had a normal conversation about bringing unity, and he just decides he's going to take down our interview, and then he just goes in on me about all the MH370 stuff all the time, where it's like, dude, this is what I'm going to say to anybody who's out there. I've been in the troll game and social media longer than most people are out there. I'm untrollable. Coming at me is like trying to come at Keemstar. It's never going to end well for you no matter what, even if you think you're in the right. So just think twice before you do it. It's not going to end well. It's going to backfire.
Breaking news, untrollable. No, I think you and Unity could have a vetted level thing. But you know what it was, Ashton? And Tuba, remember I told you this? I was like, damn, bro, it's really us versus the world because we've been on this like anti-harassment campaign thing. And then like all of our friends who are like could see the narrative stuff, they all went in on that Julian Dory video. That's when I was like, oh dude. Yeah. Remember where Julian Dory was on Twitter and he was like, dude, Ashton is a piece of shit, like blah 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 blah.
They love it. It's like
there was this weird mixture of people who were reacting to their interactions with you, and then also trying to comment on how that discredited your research. And it's like, I don't think those two things are the same.
And it's like they had never heard of Julian Dory before that. You know what I mean?
Never. They're just like, people are just like looking for any excuse, and this is the thing. Like, I got to be public enemy number one, but whatever. I don't really care. I'm down with it.
I think Kirkpatrick and Greer still have you a little beat, but you're up there. And Tupa.
Yeah.
And Keem. Skyfire
they don't
has
really interact that much, though. Keem does for sure, but Kirkpatrick definitely not, and Greer, no. Some of these guys just they give themselves too much stuff for people to criticize them with, But I don't think they even care because I think that they're making money, they're happy, they don't care what the community thinks, blah blah blah.
It's true. Well, guys, we crushed this. This is a long one. Ashton, I can't thank you enough for being here. Are you going to join us for After Space at some point tonight? We might pop in there, say what's up.
Yeah, I'm going to go try to get some late night food, but it's Friday night, so
dude, this is a long jam-packed week, bro. So much stuff's going on. We're both maybe a little stoned right now.
No. For sure.
But
it's Friday. It's Friday, dude. Like,
we had Kona Blue, the Greenwald dump, is Grush a liar, the community notes thing, Rogan and Tucker. What a huge week.
Some good wins too. Good to see you win, Ashton. I love it. The community loves it. The chat loves it. Guys, we'll be back again tomorrow. We're gonna do we like to do fun stuff on the weekends. We might do a member thing on Sunday.
We might be going extra early tomorrow, right? That might be worth announcing.
Oh yeah. Listen, we're gonna go early tomorrow with a friend of Ashton, Project Unity. We want to dive into a lot of this stuff. It's a good follow-up. It's a good follow-up, right? Like, why not get back to back, get both sides? But so we're gonna go tomorrow, probably around noonish. Pop in there for it. Of course, you can always go in there. Members pop in early. We'll be doing the music thing, the pre-party thing. Again, good to see you guys. Hope to see you tomorrow. Until next time.
Thanks for coming, Ashton. Yeah, dude, it's been too long. And congrats on the new double blow up. Like I said, it feels like November MH370 again. I think Tucker within 2 months, bro. Let's do it. Let's manifest it.
Yes.
And then that'll be the doorway to Rogan.
Yeah, I just want to get the doorway to the government issuing a statement about the videos. When is that going to happen? By the way, AARO has been ghosting me, man. It's starting to get weird. Like, I talked to this dude back in January, and this is why I don't think it's like a hoaxer or whatever. If they were, pretending to be AARO, they would have contacted me right away. They would have led me on. This is like actually feels like the government in terms of like how long it's taking And it's weird that like they keep saying they'll get back to me next week, and then weeks and weeks and weeks go by. It honestly feels like they're trying to come up with some excuse to what to tell me because they don't have any way to lie. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you guys appraised. I will post on Twitter the moment I hear back from them, assuming I have a conversation where I can speak freely about it.
We got to have a party or something if you're in the volume 2 of the historical report. If you're able to get them to like at least.
We're definitely having martinis if I get into Arrow volume 2. No doubt, we're having martinis.
Yeah, for
no.
sure. I'm
a plane supposedly gets zapped by some orbs in some of your reports.
Yeah,
I will be celebrating for sure. I made sure somebody else will be celebrating that night.
Redditor subreddits airliner production actually solved it.
Sorry, but it's like the first part is like airliner supposedly disappears, but actually a subreddit debunked it. Here's the link. The community note me on the AARO report.
And there's actually a Pyromania VFX.
It also turns out there was a VFX that matches. Jesus, man.
Every pixel.
I dare AARO to do that. I dare them.
Oh, Ashton has Sean Kirkpatrick cornered. LOL, yeah, body him.
He's up against the ropes.
But yeah, hop into our after space, everyone. I think Tupa, Shane, Ashton, after he gets some maybe food, Logan for sure, Ganga, all the friends and whatnot. Yeah, dude, this is fun show. Crazy busy week.
Follow Ashton, follow us on Twitter. Until next time, guys. Thanks again to all the members. Everyone. Peace.
It's my birthday, friends all around. I should feel lucky. But I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling. I know I should be happy too, but I'm dying, fucking dying. 'Cause Gary Nolan blocked me. The world is crumbling all around me. I wanted Gary to tell me why he shared Chris Bartell's brain scans on TV. It's my birthday, friends all around. I should feel lucky. But I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling. I know I should be happy too, but I'm dying, fucking dying. Because Gary Nolan blocked me. The world is crumbling all around me. I wanted Gary to tell me what aliens are planning. And I can't blow out my candles because of all of these scans. And I can't blow out my candles because of all of these scandals. It's a shame I brought No man named UFO Shane. He has 58 laptops. I'm not joking, he has 62 laptops. He knows more than you about everything. He's got more to do. He's UFO Shane. He's got the plan. His IQ alcohol percentage insane. He has 83 laptops. I'm not joking, he has 96 laptops. So many laptops. My man, Shane has 48, 9 fucking portable computers in his domicile. What the that? Stop sending UFO Shane tapes. He's running out of space. I think Ella Jones was right again. God damn it. Are these aliens demons? Are they demons? Let me give you the gist of. For hundreds of years the Germans have been in contact with interdimensional beings. Please believe me, it's all a code, mind control. I know it, Joe. Trust me, bro, Alex Jones was right. Me, bro, Alex Jones was right. Close me, bro, Alex Jones was right. Close me, bro, Alex Jones was right. Close me, bro, Alex Jones was right.
I'm in contact with a desert. Whenever icy, bitch, my sweater on star seas. Got some kind of internal temperature regulation system or some shit. Move back, Travis Walton, I think I'm way too high. I think I just saw Michael in black in the back doing lines. What the fuck is Kimball? Where the hell is Red? Someone saw a craft over Ashley's bed.
Back Travis Walton, I think I'm way too high. I think I just saw Michael in black in the back doing lines. Where the fuck is Kimball? Where the hell is Red? Someone saw a craft over Ashley's bed.
Standing there, holding on to what you put down on it. She didn't cause it, you flipped it. She wasn't threatening you. How is it you were able to flip it, flip it, flip it, table flipper? Joe, you get so triggered and angry. It's actually fucking crazy. You're into your time bomb ticking. Your life is the table that you've been flipping. It's true. That's right, Joe. We know about your gambling addiction and the tables. Tables can't press charges, Joe. Your family hates you, your friends hate you and hate you. She asked to use my phone. I think she wants to harm me. She won't leave me alone. She says that she's a star seed. So tell me where to leave her. Will the aliens pick her up? Do I need to leave her with some water? I don't know, I give up. prime, I know you've been talking to a lawyer. They're prime rib, now you've gone and done it. This hate campaign has gotten you in hot water. The stain is on you and can never be clean from it. You'll be remembered for this for the rest of your life.